1999 has been a year of celebration for Virginia Tech. Perfect through 7 games, the Hokies are making their claim for #1. The heart of the offense is quarterback Michael Vick, a dangerous runner and passer. He hopes to lead the Hokies to an undefeated season. The focus of the defense is sack specialist Corey Moore, whose playmaking ability has helped mold the Virginia Tech defenders into the best unit in the land. The Hokies have an excellent shot to make a run at the national championship. This season, the Mountaineers of West Virginia have been scratching their heads and pondering what might have been. Don Nehlen's 20th season in Morgantown has been filled with near misses and close calls. His team is bruised, battered, and seeking redemption. But hope is on the horizon as quarterback Mark Bulger is finally healthy. And with a strong finish, the Mountaineers can still celebrate a winning season. It's Virginia Tech and West Virginia in a Big East matchup with national implications. It is the Home Depot College Football on CBS Sports. CBS Sports welcomes you to Morgantown, West Virginia, where the Virginia Tech Hokies have marched into town trying to keep their dream of a national title alive as they take on the Mountaineers. And we welcome you inside Mountaineer Field. These two teams have met every year since 1973. Virginia Tech 7-0 this season. The first time they've had that mark since 1967. And here come the Hokies trying to go to 8-0 for the first time since 1905. Of West Virginia in a rebuilding season at 3-5, but they've had a couple of close calls that could have made that record much more impressive. I'm Sean McDonough, and it's great to have you with us. Just a moment ago, we talked about the national implications involving this game, and those implications are much more a part of the picture now as Penn State lost moments ago on a last-second field goal by Minnesota. Coming into today's games, Virginia Tech was 3rd in the BCS standings. Of course, this is the formula used to determine which two teams will play for the national championship in the Sugar Bowl. So a great chance with a victory today for Virginia Tech to move up to #2. I'm joined as always by Todd Blackledge, not a very happy Penn State alum right now, but this is great news for Virginia Tech. And Todd, again this year, the Hokies led by a great defense.
Well, there's a lot of teams that play 8-man front defense in college football. None have been doing it longer than the Hokies. As we take a look at our Sun America virtual playbook, the biggest difference in the Hokies the last few years, they've upgraded the speed. But what they do is they try to show you 8-man in the box all the time, outnumber you. The unique feature of this defense, the rover and the whip linebacker are identical players. They can pressure the line of scrimmage, or because they're defensive back type players, they can drop into coverage. They basically have a nickel defense on the field all the time, so they can pressure the line of scrimmage, play a lot of different coverages. But the difference in the Hokies this year, they've got the offensive thing figured out. And the key to that is redshirt freshman quarterback Michael Vick. Homegrown talent. He's a redshirt freshman, but he sure doesn't play like it. There was never any question about his talent. If you take a look at one play from last week, you can see all the skills he has, the footwork, the quickness to elude the pressure, the poise in the pocket, and then watch this off the back foot, just a flick of the wrist, throwing it downfield. He can run, he can throw extremely well. He struggled in the Clemson game through 3 interceptions. Ever since then, he has played superbly.
It is a rebuilding year for West Virginia. They lost 7 players off their team of a year ago that have made NFL squads this year, but they do have the quarterback Mark Bulger back.
And the good news for Mountaineer fans is Bulger is finally all the way back healthy. A knee injury early, an index finger broken against Syracuse. He is 100% now. The numbers that jump off on his statistics, the touchdown to interception ratios, a lot different this year than in the years past. Injuries have been part of that. The other part, last year he had a couple stud receivers he used to throw the ball up to and let them make plays. Hasn't had that luxury this year, has forced a few more plays. Cannot turn the ball over today against the Hokies.
Down on the field, here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Sean, in order to get the Hokies to concentrate only on winning games and worry less about who they're playing, Frank Beamer instituted a bit of a new policy at the beginning of the season. Instead of breaking the huddle with the traditional beat West Virginia, he's got his 7-0 team breaking the huddle with win number 8. Beamer told me it doesn't matter who we're playing. We prepare the same and play the same every week. And he thinks that by focusing only on winning number 8 and number 9 and so on, the team will avoid being overly concerned or overly confident, for that matter, about who's on the other side of the field. That's something that Beamer thought may have distracted his team last season. Sean?
First, they had a critical loss last year to Temple 2 years ago. They dropped one to Miami of Ohio. This is the Virginia Tech band, the marching Virginians, moment ago when they found out about the Penn State score. They know the national implications of that game and this one. Virginia Tech with a great chance now to move into position in the BCS standings, up at least to number 2, and get positioned to be in the national championship game. West Virginia leads the all-time series. And it is a beautiful day in Morgantown, West Virginia. 62 degrees at kickoff. The wind out of the southwest at 12 miles per hour, and the forecast is for it to remain a lovely late afternoon. Virginia Tech won the toss and deferred. West Virginia elected to take the football. Jimmy Kibble's kickoff. About halfway deep in the end zone and down by Sean Terry. So the Mountaineers will begin at their own 20. Led by Mark Bulger, the senior from Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, out of Central Catholic High School, the same school that produced the great Dan Marino. But not just the absence of Sean Foreman and David Saunders, the great wide receivers of a year ago you mentioned, Todd. Amos Zaraway, the all-time leading Big East rusher, is now in the NFL. He left a year early and is with the Pittsburgh Steelers. They had a veteran offensive line last year. This is a new group this season.
Yeah, a lot of variables and the injuries, particularly for a guy like Mark Bulger, because he is a finesse player. I mean, he is really a talented thrower, throws a lot of things on timing and has a very quick release. And when he's banged up a little bit, it's tough for him to execute this offense, but he is healthy now.
Pittsburgh threw for 427 yards last week against Tech. We expect to see a lot of throws from Bulger today. But they want to stay balanced, and they run with Avon Coburn on first down. And a quality gain of 9 out to the 29. Coburn is their leading rusher. He is a freshman, redshirt, with Anthony Green, the blocking fullback. Ivy and Osagata, the wide receivers, and Beck, an All-American candidate at tight end. Up front, Wes Howers, who was the starting fullback against Virginia Tech last year, moves in at left guard. Second down and 1. Coburn again with a first down. Out to the 35. Nick Sorensen, the safety, made the tackle. Virginia Tech's defense #1 in the nation against the rush. The front four, the great ends, All-American candidates, Engelberger and Moore, with the run stoppers, Williams and Bradley in the middle. Solid core of linebackers, Michael Hawks, a second-year starter, and Jamel Smith at his third-year starting. Secondary, perhaps a weakness if you really had to try and point out something. The safety play could be a little bit better. Ike Charlton and Anthony Midget, both banged up last week against Pitt. Each had to leave the game. Both returned to start this week. Timeout called by Bulger with the play clock about to expire. Just more than a minute gone by in Morgantown. No score. One of the great coaches of his time in college football, Don Nehlen, 63 years old, in his 20th season here, winning as coach in West Virginia history. His team this season will need to win out, win its remaining 3, including this one, to have a winning season and be bowl eligible. Bowling Green graduate, former head coach there, and he's been here at West Virginia a lot longer than he ever expected. With great success. On first down, 3 wide receivers in the game. They run again with Coburn around the corner and taken down by the outside linebacker Jamel Smith. But that's another good gain of 5. They're rushing successfully against the nation's best rush defense. And the success of Coburn, the key this season for West Virginia. The 3 games that he has rushed for 100 yards. West Virginia won all 3 when he's been held under 100 yards. They've lost all 5. He rushed for more than 100 against Miami of Ohio, Rutgers, and Temple. Those are the 3 Mountaineer victories. 2 tight ends into the ball game. Coburn tries the middle for just a yard. That'll bring up 3rd down and 4.
And the key thing for West Virginia, a very positive start on 1st down. It's very important that you gain yardage on 1st down and keep some balance in your offense against Virginia Tech. The first down, they got 9 on a run. This last 1st down, they got 5. 3rd down and 3, 4, 5 yardage. Very workable for the West Virginia offense. Where Virginia Tech creates a lot of problems is when they get you in those 3rd and long situations.
3rd down and 4 with 3 wide receivers into the game. Quick throw by Bulger. That is caught, but it appears to be short of a 1st down for Corey Ivy as Ike Charlton drove him back. It's very close to a 1st down, just short of the 45-yard line.
This was an audible to the quick slant trying to get the 1st down, but Charlton right there on the coverage. As soon as the ball was caught, he made a good solid tackle. And that's the difference with your boundary cornerback, which Charlton is. He's more physical. How did they take care of Corey Moore? The tight end just gave him a shot on his way out, and then you can see 2 other guys there for him, the left tackle and the tailback. 3 guys wanting to know where Corey Moore was.
Moore, the defensive player of the year in the Big East last year, on his way to that honor in all likelihood again this year. They are just a couple of inches short, and Don Nealon sends the punting unit on. This less than capacity crowd doesn't like it. West Virginia has led the Big East in home attendance each of the past 4 seasons, but this year, with the struggle of the squad, the attendance is down by about 11,000 per game. They're averaging just under 44,000. Here's Mark Fazzoleri, the redshirt freshman punter from Washington, Pennsylvania, not far from here in Morgantown. And Ricky Hall's back deep in another area in which the Hokies have always excelled under Frank Beamer's special teams.
Yeah, and this is their best thing, is the punt block. And you take a look at their block kicks more than any other team in the 90s, and they call it the pride and joy. That's what they call their punt block team, their pride and joy. And most of the pressure comes up the middle when they come after the punt.
There's 2 block kicks this year for Tech. Team's so concerned about protection that they don't cover as well. That time a good job done on the coverage by James Davis of West Virginia. A 41-yard punt by Fazzoleri and a 2-yard return. No score. Virginia Tech on offense after this. Back in Morgantown, Virginia Tech on offense for the first time. Big improvement of the Tech team this year, the offense, because of the amazingly quick development of the redshirt freshman Michael Vick, Newport News, Virginia. Those are his numbers for the season. Particularly impressive over the last 4 games. Michael Vick, one of the impressive aspects of his performance in those 4, he has not committed a turnover. On 1st down, the Big East's leading rusher, Chiron Stiff, out near the 19-yard line, where he was taken down by Ryan Brady. The rest of the offense around Vick. Stith with Jarrett Ferguson, the fullback, Emmett Johnson and Andre Davis, the wideouts, and Derek Carter, the tight end. Davis can fly. And up front, Keith Short returns to the starting center spot after missing the last 2 games with a sprained knee. This has been a very solid group all year long.
It's a big addition getting their center back, too. He really is a pretty good player in there for them.
And Short's the only senior. Vick throws wide open, caught for a 1st down and much more. Ricky Hall into Mountaineer territory and collared out of bounds at the 41-yard line. And that's a gain of 41 for the Hokies. Gary Tompkins made the tackle.
Great protection this time. West Virginia, the only way they're going to get pressure on Michael Vick is to bring blitzes, to bring other people. Their front people just are not going to be able to generate much pressure, and you can't give this guy that much time in the pocket. He is very poised for a young quarterback. Ricky Bussell has done a great job of teaching him the offense, bringing him along. That time he was patient and waited for the crossing route to open up for him.
17th catch of the season for Hall. He had 37 last year. With Davis's development, Hall not involved in as many big plays. Stith took the pitch and went out of bounds at the 38. A gain of 3. Kyle Caden and Gary Tompkins made the tackle. The West Virginia defense uncharacteristically poor this year. They're small up front with Lake, Robinette, Brady, and Thurston. The linebackers the strength of the defense. Caden between Barrett Green, who's their best defensive player, and Chris Edmonds. And in the secondary, the 4-year player Bastine at corner, Scooter Davis at the other corner, Tompkins and Sensabaugh the safeties. And like the Hokies, the safety play could be improved for West Virginia. 2nd and 7. On the delay. Nothing doing this time. Forced in. Stop for a loss. This West Virginia defense 99th in the country out of 114 teams against the run. They're allowing 201 yards per game. On the other side, Virginia Tech 8th in the nation in rushing at 250 yards per game. That seems to be the formula for plenty of success on the ground today for the Hokies.
Yeah, and even though West Virginia has had problems and they aren't very big up front, I watched that film pretty close last week against Miami. They played exceptionally well on defense until the 4th quarter when they got tired in the Orange Bowl in the heat. They got worn down. But right now, it's a cooler day. They're fresh. I think they're playing better on defense than they have earlier in the year.
They come with a blitz on 3rd and 9, and Vick is sacked back at midfield.
That's what you have to do to this guy. He's a young quarterback, and you've got to bring a lot of pressure on him and try to confuse him. Don't allow him to get his feet set. Don't allow him to look downfield. Bring as much heat as you can. If that means take some chances, you got to take some chances. West Virginia went with a sellout there. They played man and brought the pressure. And a good defensive series for the Mountaineers.
Brian Brady in on the sack. And here's Jimmy Kibble, first team All Big East punter each of the last 2 years, leading the Big East in punting again this year. But that wasn't his best effort. He was averaging 42 yards per punt, but that took a bounce backward and went out of bounds at the 26, a 24-yard punt. This is the Home Depot College Football on CBS Sports. Virginia Tech and West Virginia scoreless in the first quarter. Tomorrow, it's the NFL on CBS as we roll out doubleheader action in the early game. Elvis Gerback and Peyton Manning go head up when the Chiefs battle the Colts. In some areas, it'll be the Bills taking on the Redskins. In the nightcap, the Steelers rock with the Niners. The Broncos visit the Chargers, and it all starts with the NFL today, noon Eastern tomorrow. Movement before the snap as West Virginia begins its second possession. From its own 26. Don Nealon didn't go for it on 4th and inches the first time they had the ball at his own 45.
That ball, false start on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
Yeah, I think that decision was more out of a desire to help his own defense than it was out of just outright respect for Virginia Tech's defense. You think, well, at home, maybe you should go for it. You're 3-5. But his defense has struggled, and Virginia Tech wins the battle of field position against just about everybody they play. Make them go the long field. They punted, made them start on the 17. Now they got the ball back.
They want to stay out of long yardage situations, and Bulger is smothered by Corey Moore. His team leading 11th sack of the season, 29th of his career, and Bulger barely turned around when Moore was on top of him.
Well, you expect, because of how aggressive they are chasing the ball, that you could bootleg this team. But Corey Moore is a senior. He's a veteran guy. He was not fooled at all by the bootleg fake. The thinking is this team loves to chase the football and make big plays. You should be able to get the naked bootleg. Corey Moore was not fooled at all that time.
Senior from Brownsville, Tennessee. Timed in the 40 at 4.38. He's just 6 feet 225, but he can really run. And on the run is Coburn. Back to the 29-yard line, giving them a more manageable distance upcoming on 3rd down as Coburn got 18 yards on that run before he was tackled by Corey Bird.
Really a nice play by West Virginia. Virginia Tech expecting pass. They got fooled a little bit by the draw, and a nice cutback by Coburn. He started to his left, saw a nice hole on the backside, and made a nice alert read and cutback, giving them a 3rd down and workable situation, 3rd and 7.
Coburn, 698 yards. Giving pace to some of the best freshman runners in Mountaineer history. Bulger throws, deflected and almost intercepted. He was looking for Jerry Porter. Anthony Midget had the coverage. He was questionable for today's game with a pulled groin, an injury that sent him out of last week's game at Pitt.
This was a one-man route. I mean, they were going one place and one place only to Jerry Porter, but Midget was there. Actually, Porter should have been able to make that catch. He was in position and got his hands on the football. Looked like it went through his hands and hit his face mask and popped up in the air.
Mark Fazzoleri punts for the second time. Short, wobbly kick. Hall signaled fair catch, let it bounce. A poor decision. And a good roll for the Mountaineers. On this artificial surface, it rolls all the way down to the 18-yard line. It's still going.
Blow, wind, blow.
It's going to be halftime by the time they down it. Well, it's a good thing they downed it quickly, so they don't have to preempt our lineup tonight on CBS.
I mentioned the average starting field position for Virginia Tech. They average starting on their own 36-yard line. Their opponents on the 25-yard line. Second possession now, they both start from their own 17. So working the special teams, working in the favor right now of West Virginia, making the Hokies go the long field.
Vick appears to be changing the play. Still plenty of time on the play clock. It's at 10. No score midway through the first quarter. Stiff across the 20. Tackled by Greg Robinette, the senior from Hampton, West Virginia. Just 3 starters on this West Virginia team today are from the state of West Virginia. They're critics of Don Nehlen. Matter of fact, another plane today circling the stadium carrying a streamer that says Nehlen must go. It's the second time this season they've seen that plane fly overhead. But people who say that have no understanding of the reality of it. The job that Don Nehlen has done here and continues to do with so few good players in state.
Outstanding.
Nothing
job.
short of remarkable.
Yeah, it really is. He's an outstanding football coach.
The option on 2nd and 6. Vick into the secondary. First down out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Perlo Bastine chased him out. And that's 17 on the run for Michael Vick.
He scored on a 46-yard option last week against Pitt early in the ball game. You've got to account for him, and they had a man there, just didn't make the play. Right there was the guy responsible for the quarterback, and it allowed Vick to get upfield. Antoine Lake was there and responsible for the quarterback and couldn't make the play. It's all assignment football. Somebody takes the quarterback, somebody takes the pitch man. That time Antoine Lake didn't get his job done.
Vick, the first freshman to open the season at quarterback for Virginia Tech since Will Fuhrer in 1989. Stiff taken down in the backfield, wrapped up by Antoine Lake, and then help came for Antoine, the junior from Newmarket, Maryland.
Well, he got his job done that time. He didn't get a job done on the option. He does get it done this time. Take a look at him right here as he slips inside. Gets rid of the block by the tackle, does a nice job. That's just good technique by a defensive tackle. Keep your hands free, stand up the blocker, and get to the ball carrier.
Lake wishes he could have had that kind of grip on Kenny Kelly last week. He had a chance for a big sack. Kenny Kelly got away from Miami and completed a huge pass that helped turn the game in favor of Miami as the Canes came from behind to beat the Mountaineers. Vick going deep over the head of the tight end, Derek Carter. They don't throw to the tight ends often, but when they do, it's usually for a big play. Carter has 3 receptions, but averages 18 per catch. Browning Wynn is back up 4 catches, but averages 23 yards per reception.
Well, here's Carter right here. He's going to run the corner route on the strong safety, Gary Tompkins, or actually Chris Edmonds, a linebacker. And Edmonds, when he turned around to find the football, Carter was able to slip behind him. Just a slight overthrow that time by Vick.
Carter had one of the big plays of this Virginia Tech season to date. A 3rd down reception against Clemson. It kept the key drive alive for Virginia Tech. A 3rd down catch by Carter against Clemson, gained 21 yards. Vick on 3rd down and long. The football's out. They rule it an incomplete pass. The referee, Jim McGonaghy, said it was a forward motion by Vick and an incomplete pass. It'll be 4th down, and Frank Beamer will have to punt again. Chris Edmonds put the heat on Vick.
was a zone blitz. They didn't sell out on the blitz, but Chris Edmonds just overpowered Chiron Stipe. The running back was assigned to block him, and Chris Edmonds got him. Here's Edmonds right here, and watch him just run right through the block of Chiron Stipe. It's only 4-man rushing, but just Chiron Stipe couldn't handle Edmonds on the edge.
Kibble with a very high punt. Perlo Bastine back deep, got away from it, and the Hokies down it at the 22. Roniel Whitaker downfield to down it. He's the nephew of boxer Sweet Pea Whitaker. 42-yard punt.
Well, a couple good confidence-boosting defensive possessions for the Mountaineers. Again, this is a defense that has really struggled this year. You mentioned their problems stopping the run. 103rd in the country in total defense, giving up 421 yards a game, but a couple good third down plays, a little confusion for Michael Vick, and the Mountaineers back with the football now.
Third possession for West Virginia. No score, 6:08 left in the first quarter. Sean McDonough with Todd Blackledge and Michelle Tafoya. Quick throw by Bulger, almost picked off. Batted down in the flat by Michael Hawks. And had he been able to catch that one, it was a touchdown for Virginia Tech. Hawks, a senior from Blackstone, Virginia. Coaches tell us he's one of the most improved players on their team this year.
I think the biggest difference in this defense in the latter half of this decade from earlier, they play the same style. They haven't changed their philosophy, but they have really upgraded their speed at all positions. I mean, their linebackers now are guys who can really run. I mean, they run like defensive backs, and that you saw that with Hawks getting under that pass.
Bulger has 3 wide receivers to the right, and he's barking out instructions on 2nd and 10. Pass in the flat. Coburn, a good shake and bake move to turn it into a positive play, but there's a flag thrown from deep down the middle by the back judge.
Flag on the play.
Gain of 5 if it stands. Corey Bird made the tackle, but it's against the Mountaineers.
Number 16, Corey Bird.
The architect of this Virginia Tech defense is Bud Foster. The defensive coordinator played for Frank Beamer at Murray State, then coached with Frank at Murray State, came with them to Virginia Tech. They've been together 19 years, and they've had a lot of success together.
Had a chance to go to Florida, you know, this year. And Steve Spurrier talked to him about the job when Bobby Stoops went to Oklahoma as the head coach, and he considered it, but he also felt like Frank Beamer had been loyal to him, and this was a chance for him to show his loyalty back. I think the school also stepped up to the plate and helped him out a little bit financially. And I think both Frank Beamer and Bud Foster realize that, you know, they've been able to take this program to one level. Now they see a chance to take it to an even higher level, a championship level, and I think that's what they're working on right now.
Frank Beamer talks about trying to change the status of the program. They're trying to get it to the place where you think of them as a national power every year. The lateral to Sean Terry. Out of bounds at the 21-yard line. Let's get an update on LSU and Alabama. Here's Tim Brando.
Sean, you and Todd know Alabama needs this win going into Mississippi State next week with only a 6-point lead in time running out and no timeouts left. Josh Booty tries to score out of the stacked eye. He's met by Miles and Cornelius Griffin. Alabama dodges one against LSU. And don't overlook Kansas State where the BCS is concerned. Virginia Tech stolen some of their thunder. They managed to beat Colorado today.
K-State number 6 in the polls and number 6 in the BCS standing entering today's action. Bulger throwing deep, man open, and is caught for a first down by Corey Ivy. Out of bounds at the 42. Roniel Whitaker, backup cornerback, had the coverage. A pickup of 21 for West Virginia.
Great timing this time. Bulger to Ivy on the post corner. Virginia Tech corners play a lot of inside technique, and so the corner route is a natural route to run against them. Watch as he turns him to the inside. He shows post to the inside and then breaks back to the outside, and the ball is already in the air as he started his break. Good timing that time. Bulger to Ivy.
And that's 26 games in a row with at least one catch for Corey Ivy, the senior from Boca Raton, Florida. We had a big game last weekend at home in Miami. 9 catches for 142 yards against the Canes in the narrow loss. Timeout called by West Virginia. defensive back on the last Virginia Tech team that was 7-0 back in 1967, playing for a terrific coach, Jerry Claiborne, who, as Frank just mentioned, during our Mentors of the Game segment, tremendous influence on him.
Yeah, particularly defensively. You know, that wide tackle 6, Jerry Claiborne ran that for years and years, and Frank Beamer has pretty much run the same thing at Virginia Tech. They've adjusted it, tweaked it a little bit over the years, but it's still the same principle of the 8-man front that the wide tackle 6 defense was.
Frank Beamer, 52 years old, in his 13th season as head coach at his alma mater. The play clock expired, and they will blow it dead. And that's out of a timeout. That has the Boo Birds busy, and they've been hearing the boos with regularity here this year.
Well, what they're trying to do, West Virginia, a lot.
That ball, delay of the game. On the offense, 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
They've got a lot of check with me plays where they've got 2 plays potentially called, and Mark Bulger is going to see what he sees on the defense and decide whether to run the football with the play called or make a throw. And he's trying to get the perfect play, and that time, you're right, you shouldn't have that happen out of the timeout, but he's trying to avoid the negative yardage plays against this defense, which really fires up the Hokies defense.
2 tight ends into the ball game. And on first down, they try the middle. Avon Coburn, a good adjustment. But all that running got him nothing. No gain on the play. Roniel Whitaker up from the corner to lead the defense.
Well, this is some fancy footwork by Coburn, but the wrong defense to try it on, because the one thing about this defense is they chase the football as well, if not better, than anybody in the country. And if you start running sideways on them, you're not going to gain any yards. You're going to lose yardage. Again, those negative yardage plays are what Virginia Tech excels on defense. When you try to run sideways, the best way to attack this defense is right at them.
38 yards rushing for Coburn. He catches the ball in the flat. And it's out of bounds at the 42. Of course, Coburn has stepped in this year for Amos Zaraway, who had a tremendous career here at West Virginia and left for the NFL a year early. They're quite similar when you see them in person, both short. We had the chance to visit with Avon yesterday. Both tremendously strong, particularly in the upper body.
Yeah, he is a strong kid, and they want to get him the football of anywhere between 22, 25 carries a game. They've got another back, Cooper Rigo, 5 to 7 carries a game. But Coburn is a guy that, even though he is not as big as some other backs, he is a physical guy, can carry the ball that many times in the game.
He was not highly recruited, kind of a typical West Virginia player. They take some projects and turn them into good players. Bulger's pass on 3rd and 10, incomplete, intended for Corey Ivy. And the Mountaineers will punt for the 3rd time.
Number 8, Corey Ivy. Number 3, Mike Charles.
Good protection by West Virginia that time. That's all that Mark Bulger could ask for. They did a good job running those outside rushers. Moore and Engelberger up the field. They were solid in the front. He just couldn't make the connection.
Larry on to punt. Low snap. And he got it off. Low, but long on the line. Ricky Hall beat the first man. But can't get away. Tackled at the 12-yard line by Brian Lorenz, a backup linebacker. 50-yard punt and a 5-yard return. And the strength of one of the strengths of the Virginia Tech team, the special teams, but West Virginia playing right with them on special teams.
They're playing well. They covered well, but the last 2 punts, Virginia Tech is getting closer and closer to that punter. They've got to be strong in the middle on that punt block.
So the Hokies will start at their own 12. Brian Lorenz, who made the tackle on special teams, a senior walk-on, so overcome knee difficulty during his time in Morgantown to be a contributor. Michael Vick now has Andre Kendrick, their number 2 rusher, and a tailback for Stiff behind him. And they pitch it to Kendrick. Coming off a big performance at Pittsburgh last Saturday night. And he's close to a first down. That's a gain of 9 to the 21-yard line. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, you guys, linebacker Mark Thurston was so excited and winded after West Virginia's last defensive stand. He had to have a coach and a trainer standing with him for several moments, getting him to take deep breaths and just settle down. He's fine. There's no injury. In fact, there were smiles all the way around because of the play of Thurston and his teammates. Back to you.
I really think the cooler weather is going to be a real benefit to West Virginia defense today. They're playing a lot better.
On second and short, the roll by Vick. He throws incomplete. Had a man open, but the ball was behind Andre Davis, and it was almost picked off by Boo Sensabaugh.
Boo Sensabaugh was almost beheaded by the football, too. I don't think he even saw it coming. That ball had a lot of zip on it. Watch this ball coming at Boo Sensabaugh. He didn't even get his hands up. The ball hits him right in the head. Ball was thrown behind Davis, and Sensabaugh just couldn't get his hands up in time to make a play.
Sensabaugh in for Rick Sherrod at safety. I mentioned they were looking for better safety play. Sherrod had been the starter. On third and short.
Movement on the right side of the line by Virginia Tech. This is a big penalty in the favor of the Mountaineers. It'll back them up 5 yards.
Kind of a sluggish start so far for the Hokies.
Dead ball. False start on the offense. 5-yard penalty. Repeat the down.
I just wonder about the emotional impact of getting that Penn State score, finding out that the team just ahead of you in the BCS standings lost just moments before the opening kickoff of this game.
Yeah, you know, they still have to take care of business. As you see the movement on the right side, it's very similar to last year. You know, Kansas State was in a position. They found out, they heard that UCLA had lost to Miami. The game was right there in their hands. They were beating Texas A&M in the Big 12 championship game and let it get out of, let it get out of their hands. Still have to take care of business, even though everything right in front of the Hokies right now.
Third down and 6 out of a shotgun. Vick with plenty of time. Throws. First down. Caught by Emmett Johnson. Just the 6th catch of the season for the sophomore from Chesapeake, Virginia. And 3 of those came in their one-sided victory over Alabama Birmingham. Gain of 8.
Nice pitch and catch, Vick to Johnson. Good route. He got Davis turned around on the out route. You have to respect the speed of the Virginia Tech receivers. And that time Scooter Davis, a little too much respect, and an easy throw for Michael Vick.
Emmett Johnson played just 1 year of varsity high school football at Western Branch in Chesapeake. So the JV team as a sophomore, concentrated on track as a junior in high school. Here's Kendrick across the 30, and he bowls his way out to the 32.
You know, the one thing we haven't seen yet from Virginia Tech, and whenever you play the Hokies, you got to expect this, at least 3, maybe 4 times a half, they are going to go play action and throw the ball deep down the field. Because they run the ball so much and are so effective running in between the tackles, they love to go play action and throw the ball deep, try to get it to their speed guy, Andre Davis.
Been a great first half team since the start of last season. They outscored their opponents 413-94. This is a scoreless first quarter. The option by Vick. He keeps it. Avoids a would-be tackler. And got tripped up at the 40, but that's a first down. Perlo Bastine up from the corner to upend Vick. And had Bastine missed that tackle, Vick might have been gone.
Boy, does this guy have quick feet, Sean. I mean, this is a play that probably should have been knocked for a loss. I mean, West Virginia hasn't defended. He has nowhere to go. He eludes one tackle, the guy coming behind him, Thurston, and then almost eludes this one to turn it into a touchdown. Still gets the first down. Great individual effort by Michael Vick.
And it's perhaps the most fundamental aspect of defense, Todd, tackling. But that's an area in which West Virginia's had a very tough time all season long.
Yeah, they really have.
Cullen Hawkins in at fullback along with Kendrick. Vick throws, almost intercepted. Perlo Bastine saw that coming. Stepped in front of the receiver, Emmett Johnson. And Perlo was eyeing a touchdown for West Virginia, but couldn't execute the interception.
Yeah, you're right, Sean. He saw it the whole way. Bastine was just laying in wait on this one. Michael Vick was locked in on the receiver crossing the field. Watch Michael Vick. As he looks downfield, he's just going to pick up his crossing route. He does not see Bastine come off his coverage and standing right there in position.
Looked like they got their legs tangled just before the ball arrived, and that prevented Bastine from making the interception. He has 11 career interceptions, 8 all-time at West Virginia. Second and 10. Up the middle, Kendrick. There's a good tackle by their best defensive player, Barrett Green, the senior. From West Palm Beach, Florida, team leading tackler coming in with 91 for the season, 26 more than any other West Virginia defender.
Don Nealon says, you know, he's my best player, and his dad, Joe, played for me at Bowling Green. He was my best player on my Bowling Green team, too. So
that's not mean Joe Green. No. That Joe Green, Eric's dad, who played for Don Nealon at Bowling Green, went on to play in the NFL with the Giants and the Dolphins. They'll go out of the gun again. They're down and 8 Hokies. Here comes an all-out blitz. Vick hit as he threw it. Hits the ground. Flag down. The pass incomplete. Vick was buried by Chris Edmonds and Barrett Green, both linebackers coming on the blitz. But what is the flag?
It hit an offensive lineman, Sean. Michael Vick tried to unload the football, and I think he threw it right to one of his offensive linemen, Josh Redding, maybe, number 79. Michael Vick trying to avoid the sack. The pressure was going to get to him, and he knew it, and tried to get rid of the football and threw it right to one of his offensive linemen. Illegal touch. Again, here comes the pressure inside. Vick. See right there, Josh Redding. Again, a good, well-designed blitz by Steve Dunlap, defensive coordinator, West Virginia, coming after Michael Vick right up inside, forcing him to get rid of the football early.
Jimmy Kibble punts for the 3rd time to Perlo Bastine. No rush, and Kibble booms one. And the Hokies down it. No. They had a chance to get it inside the 5, but it bounced into the end zone. A 58-yard punt. Mike Donahue down there trying to down it. Fine effort, but it was unsuccessful. For all you music fans, here's an update on the CBS poll of America's picks for the ultimate rock band. Elvis is still top male vocalist, just edging out Bruce Springsteen and Mick Jagger. You can still cast your vote at CBS.com or at the Hard Rock Cafe. And don't miss the ultimate rock and roll musical, tomorrow night's world premiere miniseries, Shake, Rattle, and Roll, right here on CBS. Cooper Rigo in it, running back. He gets the handoff. And he's out to the 27. A gain of 7 for the sophomore from Montvale, New Jersey.
They're running that sprint draw, Sean. When we were sitting in the office yesterday with Dan Simro, and he said, you know, last year we ran that play 12 times, and it wasn't enough. We went back and watched. We needed to run it more. They've run it several times a day, 4 times already here in the first quarter.
Rigo remains in at tailback behind the fullback Anthony Green. Trying that play again. It didn't fake out Corey Moore the last time, nor does it this time. Moore in on the 2nd sack of the day for the Hokies.
You know, that's
second for Corey.
Yeah, that's what shows you how good a player Corey Moore and John Engelberger are. Is they love to chase the football, but they also can read bootleg right away. Corey Moore, you know, he's got those eyes wide open, and he's not just making a beeline up the field. He's reading things as well. That time did a nice job staying at home for the 2nd time on the bootleg.
Don Nealon says Corey Moore is the most disruptive player in college football, and he's been disrupting Coach Nealon's offense. It was also announced today that he's one of the 4 finalists for the Lombardi Award. Moving along the line of scrimmage on 3rd down and 12. Just 7 seconds left in the opening quarter.
That ball start on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
It looked like Wes Hours, who came out of his stance early, making his first start at guard. Started 3 games at fullback last year and had a big 29-yard reception against Virginia Tech on a 4th and 2 play down in Blacksburg. It set up a West Virginia touchdown.
Started this year as a defensive tackle, so they've moved him all around, but they like him in there at offensive guard.
Before the snap, the first quarter ended. The end of the first quarter, the score: Virginia Tech nothing and West Virginia nothing. We'll return to Mountaineer Field right after this message and a word from your local station. No score As we head to the second quarter, you tuned in late. Penn State a loser day at home, and a last-second field goal by Minnesota. Virginia Tech would seem to be very well positioned to move into the top 2 in the BCS standings with a win today. Bulger on 3rd and 17, pitches the ball to Cooper Rigo. He's out to the 21. And West Virginia will have to punt. And Todd, the longer West Virginia, the big underdog, can hang around. Obviously, the greater potential for a huge upset today.
And the more confidence they get, particularly on the defensive side of the ball. They've made some really good plays defensively. They still have to hit some plays. Mark Bulger has to get a hot hand throwing the football. And special teams. Virginia Tech has been close the last couple punts. They really have to protect their punter here.
Ozolari gets it off. Ricky Hall caught it at the 34, and again, excellent coverage by West Virginia's James Davis. 45-yard punt, -1 on the return by Hall. Thanks to the heroics of James Davis, the redshirt freshman from Stuart, Florida. Steve Dunlap, the defensive coordinator yesterday, said he's a human torpedo, big hitter, likes to run downfield and wallop somebody. And that's what he intended to do to Hall.
Well, he did a nice job just zeroing in on Hall that time, not getting his body out of position. First guy down there a lot of times is over anxious, runs by that returner. Nice job by Hall wrapping him up.
Virginia Tech, 1st and 10. Chiron Stiff across the 35 to the 36. He gained 3. Here's Michelle.
Well, you guys, a couple of West Virginia injuries. Linebacker Chris Edmonds twisted his left knee. He should be okay. They put a knee brace on it, and he'll try to play the rest of the game with the brace. Not so lucky is wide receiver Sean Terry. He is out of this game with a separated right shoulder. Back to you.
Wow. Brother dislocates his elbow last week. Yeah. He separates his shoulder this week.
Sean Terry important in the return game. Also comes in multiple wide receiver sets. Nate Terry, his brother, starting quarterback, broke his arm at Miami last week. Vic off target so far today. He's had receivers open and has been missing them. That time he airmailed Ricky Hall. And it'll be 3rd down.
Boy, he took a real shot from Corey McIntyre that time, too. It was a delay linebacker blitz. When he saw Michael Vick leave the pocket, he went right for the rib cage and really delivered a shot on Michael Vick.
Just 2 out of 8 for Vick, who completed 62% of his passes for the season coming in. Mentioned his play over the last 4 games, particularly impressive. 7 touchdowns, no interceptions in the last 4 against Virginia, Rutgers, Syracuse, and Pittsburgh. Play clock appeared to be right on 0 when the ball was snapped, and they're going to blow it dead. The players didn't hear the whistle because of the crowd noise, but they are going to flag Virginia Tech for delay of game.
And West Virginia is lucky because they were out of position on this play. David Carter got himself right in position to make the tackle.
Delay of the game on the offense. 5-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Repeat the down.
Frank Beamer frustrated. These 2 teams came into this game as the 2 least penalized teams in the Big East this season.
Watch David Carter right here. Watch him underestimate the speed of Michael Vick as he shoots through the backfield. He's got a clean shot at Vick, but he takes a bad angle, underestimates the speed, and Michael Vick would have picked up the 1st down easily had they not been called for the penalty. Good break for the Mountaineers.
The Hokies penalized twice now for 10 yards. West Virginia flagged 4 times for 27 yards. They're back on the 31-yard line. In the scoreless game early in the second quarter. 3rd and 12. And the pitch. Stiff belted down. Well short of the 1st down. Barrett Green leveled Stiff.
Sean, you said it when we went to that break. The more they hang around, the more plays that they make defensively, the tougher this Mountaineer defense will be. Virginia Tech tried to fool them with a little option on 3rd and long, but Barrett Green did a nice job fighting off the block by Ricky Hall and making the play.
Everyone up. There's nobody back deep for West Virginia for the punt. The kicker went down but was hit by his own man, and Kibble gets away a terrific punt. Well, West Virginia decided to go after the punter, and the result is the ball be down on the 5-yard line. A 54-yard punt by Jimmy Kibble. No score. 12:50 remaining in the first half in Morgantown.
Florida hoping not to be caught by surprise. Tim Brando in New York with a quick update. Ernest Graham takes it in from 9 yards out. Could we be seeing a trend today? Penn State loses to Minnesota, looking ahead to Michigan. Alabama looking ahead to Mississippi State, barely gets by LSU. K-State looking ahead to Nebraska, barely gets by Colorado.
And right now, Virginia Tech in a scoreless tie with West Virginia. The opening moments of the second quarter, worst field position for the Mountaineers. Bulger back into his own end zone on 1st and 10. And that pass is out of bounds, looking for Corey Ivy. Ivy was covered by Corey Bird. Time now for our Aflac trivia question. We would like to know the last time a team led the nation in scoring offense, scoring defense, and won the national championship. That's a trifecta that Virginia Tech is thinking about this year. High formation now on 2nd and 10. The Mountaineers from their own 5. Delay and a big hole for Coburn. Let the Hokies close the hole quickly. Jake Housewright, a backup linebacker, made the initial hit. Ben Taylor and Jamel Smith helped finish off Coburn. Well, we have a battle in the air here today as well. We saw Nealon must go, and now we see a plane carrying a banner in support of Don Nealon.
Well, count me in that number, Sean. I'm a big fan of Don Nealon. Of course, part of that, he's from Canton, Ohio, my hometown. I went to the same college, played football with my dad, but he is a fine football coach, and he's done a great job here.
Bulger in trouble, throws, caught by the tight end, Anthony Bicht. First down out to the 27-yard line.
Sean, I think this was supposed to be a design throwback to the tight end, but when Mark Bulger went to throw the first time, Beck was not open. This is a great job by a senior quarterback showing some poise and patience. Watch as he turns to throw back now to the tight end. It's not there. So he buys a little more time and allows Beck to uncover and then gets him the football. Good protection as well, allowing Bulger to have the football that long.
17 yards on the gain. Beck, an All-American candidate at tight end out of Drexel Hill, Pennsylvania, the Philadelphia area. Nothing doing on the run for Coburn. Carl Bradley wrapped him up. There's Anthony Beck of Monsignor Bonner in the Philadelphia area. This was the only Division I scholarship offer that he had. And we talk about the skill of Don Nealon and his staff, taking players nobody else wanted, in part because they have to. It's a hard place to get players to come to. Beck was a 185-pound wide receiver in high school. Now he's a 265-pound tight end, one of the best in the nation. First down on the completion to Corey Ivy. Larry Austin the tackle. Well, that's 15 more on the completion for Bulger. Beck is an excellent student here, marketing major at West Virginia. He's going to finish up his academic load in December. And part of an interesting competition within the Big East, the Tucker Anthony Stock Challenge. The 13 Big East schools have 4 or 5 students from each school who get $250,000 in play money, and they invest that money over a period of several months. Beck was part of the winning team in the Big East 2 years ago. Better than 20% return on the money, and they're competing in that again this year. They just started. He said in the first week they made about $25,000.
Yeah, we were all scrambling for our cell phones after lunch too.
We wanted his tips. Coburn carried out to midfield on first down. Nathaniel Williams and Larry Austin took him down. But that really is a typical West Virginia story. They take players that perhaps other programs don't want or miss. We describe them as projects, and they try to make them into productive players, and they have a great track record under Don Nealon of doing that.
Well, Mark Bulger the same way. He was not a highly recruited quarterback, but has been extremely productive. Holds 25 school records now. Can't make that connection, but
last year against the Hokies, 26 completions, the most ever by a quarterback in this rivalry. He threw for 346 yards last week at Miami. You mentioned he wasn't all that highly recruited either, but his other major choice was Virginia Tech. And he wanted to go to Virginia Tech. And his parents said, no, we want you to go to West Virginia. He yielded to the wishes of his parents. He said his mom particularly liked Don Nehlen.
Well, he's a good man. I mean, Frank Beamer's a good man, too. That's a hard choice to make between those two guys.
Coburn carries on 3rd down and has the first down to the 45 of Virginia Tech, where Michael Hawks made the tackle.
Talked about the 3rd down situations that you want to be in. Dan Simrell said, if we're 3rd and 5, 3rd and 4, I'm real comfortable with that. When you have the threat of run or pass, and there's Dan Simrell right there, you have the threat of run or pass, it makes it a whole lot easier on 3rd down. They go for the little run there. They pick up the first down inside Virginia Tech territory.
And Simrell, former head coach at the University of Toledo, was a great quarterback at that school, was in the UT Hall of Fame, winning as coach at Toledo. Dan Simrell.
Got a check to a throw here.
Bulger did, but he has nobody open and scurries back for a loss of 1. That will be a sack. Credited to John Engelberger, the other of the bookend terrific defensive ends for Tech. Bud Foster, the defensive coordinator, told us Engelberger is our best defensive player.
Yeah, best all-around player. You see, Porter was open early. Mark Bulger couldn't throw it on time, and when he tried, he did the smart thing going upfield, but Engelberger there to finish him off. Engelberger is much bigger than Corey Moore. I mean, he's 6'4", 265, and he can run. And when they lost Nathaniel Williams, he actually moved inside and played tackle. So he's a very versatile player for Bud Foster.
At that size, he still runs a 4.55 40. Bulger going deep, one-on-one coverage. It's caught. Corey Ivy, first down. Out of bounds inside the 30-yard line. There's a flag downfield. Roniel Whitaker in coverage.
Well, there was some pushing and shoving here. It might have been a push-off by Corey Ivy.
Wow,
boy, it sure didn't look very bad, though. That is what they're calling. Man, this is a beautiful throw by Mark Bulger right over the outside shoulder, and not very serious contact.
Wow, we see much more hand fighting on the perimeter on virtually every play of every game we see during the season.
On the offense.
A 27-yard gain negated on a very shaky call. And Don Nehlen talked about that yesterday. He said if we could change 5 or 6 plays in our season, we might be 6-2. He said, I know that's kind of the refrain of a coach having a tough year, but it's things like this that seem to happen to them this year. Over and over again, they execute a play, and they get a very shaky call that brings them all the way back to their own 39-yard line.
Yeah, that's a real tough call at home against your team, because that was not very much contact at all. A beautiful throw and catch.
I would assume if that's going to be called, then there will be absolutely no hand fighting on the perimeter all day long. That throw high, intended for Ivy again. Corey Bird had the coverage. Boy, is that a momentum changer. Anthony Midget is out of the game, having aggravated that groin injury suffered last week. He tried to go today, but couldn't. Played for a while, but is out now.
That's a tough loss for them, because he's an experienced player, a senior guy, and that last incompletion, so take a look at Midget's stats, that it was knocked down by Ivy. I'm not so sure Bulger wasn't going for Jerry Porter on the post behind him, though.
It was when Midget and Ike Charlton were out of the game at the same time last week against Pittsburgh. Charlton left when he was poked in the eye. That Pitt started throwing the ball all over the place and wound up with 427 yards passing for the game. But as the Hokies say, they only scored 17 points. That pass deflected and incomplete. And what a game changer that pass interference call was.
They had momentum. They had things going. They had it deep into Virginia Tech territory, clearly at least in field goal range. And now they have to punt the football back to the Hokies.
Fazzolari's on again. And Ricky Hall is standing at his own 10-yard line.
Thing about Virginia Tech's pressure on the punter, even though they've only gotten 1 punt block this year, you just always have to be alert.
They're not coming on the rush. Fazzolari kicking it all over the place and finally gets off a low-line drive. And it goes out of bounds at the 45. And that's an example of what you're talking about, just in anticipation of the rush.
That's right. I mean,
you can start to become unglued. It was a low snap by Rick Oliar.
Yeah, the center is so concerned with the pressure right over his nose, he doesn't make a good snap. And this happens every week. They either get a shank or they get the punter to drop the football. The pressure and the stress get to him.
CBS Sports coverage of the Home Depot College football will continue after this word from your local station. West Virginia looking for just its 3rd win ever against a team ranked in the top 5. WVU 2-26 all time against top 5 teams. Their last win against the top 5 foe in 1993 when they beat Miami, then ranked number 4, 17-14. From the 45, great field position, and up the middle goes Andre Kendrick into Mountaineer territory and down short of a first down after a gain of 8. Time now to answer our Aflac trivia question. When was the last time a team led the nation in scoring defense, and won the national championship? And the answer, Florida State in '93. Virginia Tech this year 3rd in the nation in scoring offense behind Georgia Tech and Kansas State. 2nd in scoring defense behind Marshall. The fullback stuffed. Nothing for Cullen Hawkins, the junior from Pittsburgh, whose father Scott was a starter linebacker in the late '60s for Virginia Tech.
And Cullen Hawkins went to Upper St. Clair High School in Pittsburgh, and that's where Virginia Tech had their workout yesterday. They have the same AstroTurf in that high school stadium as West Virginia has here, so the Hokies built that into their travel schedule to work out at Upper St. Clair on Friday for their walkthrough. Fans trying to spur on this Mountaineer defense, which has played so well. 3rd and 2. Kendrick gets outside. He may go. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. You see this so often in short yardage situations. Everybody's committing to the line of scrimmage. They're all trying to stop the short run, and then you get a missed tackle, and it's off to the races. And right here, the free safety, Rick Sherrod, out of position. Rick Sherrod is a very, very talented guy, a young player out of Charleston, West Virginia, but he was kind of benched this week in favor of Bruce Sensabaugh because of getting out of position.
The extra point good by Shane Graham. It's a 47-yard touchdown run by Kendrick, and a 7-0 Hokie lead. A win by Glenn Mason's team gives Virginia Tech a chance to move into the top 2 in the BCS standings, and the Hokies have just taken the lead in this one on a 47-yard touchdown run by Andre Kendrick, the junior from Lynchburg, Virginia. They needed just 3 plays after the short punt by Fazzolari on the low snap. Jimmy Kibble will kick off. Richard Bryant back deep with Lewis Daniels. They're without Sean Terry, one of their best return men. It's a popped-up kickoff, and it's going to roll all the way back into the end zone. He throws the ball back, and it is brought into the end zone by Virginia Tech's Lamar Cobb. Lewis Daniels threw the ball from the goal line back to about the 5, and Lamar Cobb ran it in. Just a terrible play by the redshirt freshman who's face down to the turf. He can't believe what he just did. There is a flag down on the play. Daniels is one of their regular return men. They are without Sean Terry, but it wasn't Daniels taking his place. He has been running kicks back this year for the Mountaineers.
Well, it was the placement of the kick that really fooled West Virginia. Kibble normally drives that ball deep, and this was a purposely designed little pooch kickoff, and Daniels should have fielded that on the fly rather than let it bounce, and then just the youthful mistake.
Oh, yeah. Lamar Cobb, for the moment, has scored a touchdown, but the officials have thrown a flag. Don Nealon saying he was in the end zone.
Illegal forward pass on the receiving team. The penalty been forced. Half the distance to the goal. First down.
And that's a huge break for West Virginia. Now the question is, how can it be half the distance to the goal if he was in the end zone? He was very close to straddling that goal line. Right now they have the ball on the 2-yard line, but boy, was it close to being in the end zone.
He does have control of the football. That was my question, whether he had control.
We're going to seek out the Big East supervising officials at halftime and try to get enlightened on that play. You heard the explanation from Jim McConaughey. So,
well, they had a bad one go against them on the pass interference.
Certainly West Virginia, if they just got a break, they would do a huge break, because the terrible call on the offensive pass interference against Ivy set up the punt, which resulted in the disaster, which gave Virginia Tech the good field position, and they quickly scored the touchdown.
Wow. Huge break for the Mountaineers.
Wow. And the most relieved man in America right now is Lewis Daniels. Cooper Rigo in a tailback. Bulger's going to throw out of the end zone. He throws incomplete. And the direction of Anthony Beck, who was covered by Ike Charlton. The last time the Mountaineers had the ball, it was at the 5-yard line. And they did move the ball actually across midfield before the pass interference penalty, moved them back into their own end. Bulger's though for his last 4. Frank Beamer is still trying to figure out what this was all about.
One last look at it as you see the ball bouncing to the goal line. He gets possession there, and is the ball across the plane. That's the key.
Cooper Rigo takes the dangerous deep handoff and moves out to the 4. It'll be 3rd down and about 7. Nathaniel Williams and Carl Bradley, the defensive tackles, combining on the stop on Rigo, the transfer from Notre Dame. He sat out last year as a transfer. He was the scoring leader in the state of New Jersey as a senior at St. Joseph. Rushed for more than 2,400 yards that year and scored 35 touchdowns, 244 points to lead New Jersey in scoring. He comes out. Coburn's back in, another New Jersey native from Cherry Hill. Play clock at 2. Bulger took the snap out of the gun. He throws incomplete. Looking for Coburn. Ben Taylor, the linebacker, in coverage, and look out for the rush team of Virginia Tech as Fazzolari will have to punt out of the end zone.
And as we saw on the last one, it's not just the rush, but it's the threat of the rush. It causes punters to do crazy things, drop snaps, causes centers to make bad snaps, because you're always aware of their ability to come after the punt and make a play.
Fazzolari's punt returned by Hall out to midfield. There is a flag down in the end zone. A 55-yard punt after the adventure of moments ago for Fazzolari. The 9-yard return, but we'll investigate the laundry on the field.
Illegal procedure on the kicking team. Only 6 men in the line of scrimmage.
I think they'll make him kick it again. If I'm Frank Beamer, I'm thinking,
oh yeah,
worst case scenario, you know, we get a little better field position, a chance for a better return. Only 6 guys on the line of scrimmage. You got to have 7.
Procedure on the kicking team. 6 men on the line of scrimmage. The penalty will be half the distance to the goal. 4th down again.
And Frank Beamer told us that, you know, our blocks are down, but our yardage in the kicking game is up. You can see just a little bit too much of a wing right in here. You've got to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Only 6 on the line of scrimmage. You got to have 7 up on the line of scrimmage. But he told us, you know, the blocks are down, but our yardage is up.
Right.
We still have the advantage in field position. Our return game is better than it's been. And it all kind of stems off of that ability and that reputation for rushing the punter. And here again, a timeout by West Virginia.
They only had 10 men on the field this time. So the last play, they didn't have enough men on the line. Now they don't have enough men on the field. And West Virginia's out of timeouts with 5:49 left in the half. Virginia Tech leads 7-0.
Did you see it? Oh, they had it on.
Virginia Tech leads 7-0, and you know they'll be all out after Fazzolari here with the punt coming from the back of the end zone. He has to be careful not to step on that white area.
Yeah, can't have any false steps. It's just catch and kick. Just get it out of there is all he's got to be thinking.
And he did, and it's a shank. But it takes a great bounce past Ricky Hall. He let it roll, and look at this.
Wow.
What do they call that sport on the ice where they have the brooms and they
curling?
Yeah, that's what they look like they're doing right there.
There's Lewis Daniels. You don't think he's happy right now? He was the guy that mishandled the kick.
He was also the guy who was late coming on the field while they had 10 men on the field. They had to use the timeout. That finally rolls dead inside the 21-yard line. That is a 78-yard punt. The longest of his career for Fazzolari. He's a redshirt freshman in his first year. He won the punting job during the preseason competition. The longest punt in West Virginia history, 90 yards by Todd Sauerbrunn against Nebraska in '94. And of course, he went on to the NFL.
And Frank Beamer elected to take that penalty. They had the ball in the 48. He elected to make him kick it again.
He did the right thing.
He did. Yeah. Ricky Hall didn't do the right thing. Now Tech has the ball in the 20.
Option by Vick. They pitch it to Chiron Stiff. Out of bounds at the 38-yard line. Run out by Kyle Caden. That's 18 yards on the run for Stiff.
Virginia Tech doesn't run a ton of option, but they do enough of it that they make you defend it. And Michael Vick is so dangerous running the football, has great speed and strength, and really makes good decisions on that option. But it's just another weapon that they have in their offense. And again, you've always known about their defense and special teams. This year, their offense has kind of completed the picture for the Hokies.
On their own 38. Stiff again, this time dropped for a 1-yard loss by Mark Thurston and Ryan Brady.
Can't say enough of the defensive front for West Virginia in this ball game in the first half. They've played pretty well. They're an undersized group. They don't have a lot of depth. It's a pretty physical group. Offensive line for Virginia Tech that's leaning on them here on the inside, but they've held their own pretty well here in the first half of play.
Approaching 4.5 minutes left in the first half. 7-0 Virginia Tech. After the play action fake, Vick wanted to throw on 2nd and 11. Now he looks to run, and he's out to the 43, where he was stopped by Antoine Lake. And it'll be 3rd down, and they'll need 5 to move the chains.
What Steve Dunlap has done in this first half is if Virginia Tech has stayed in regular personnel, then they've gone with a lot of man blitzes. They've come after Michael Vick. It looks like Virginia Tech's still in regular personnel. Let's see if he comes after Vick again on 3rd and 5.
3rd down and 5. Out of the gun, Vick with a lot of time again. Throws. Incomplete. He had a man, but Emmett Johnson couldn't make the grab right at the first down marker. And Virginia Tech will be forced to punt again.
Little change up that time. They only rushed 4 and they played zone. They made Michael Vick read the coverage and find the open man, and he couldn't make the throw. Another big stop for the Mountaineers here in the first half.
Here's Kibble having another excellent day, as he was helped by the fact that last time West Virginia had nobody back to receive the punt. They were on the all-out block, and Kibble's kick ran down to the 5-yard line. This is his poorest effort. And again, the backspin with the Balata ball. Out of bounds at the 37-yard line. Maybe even the 38. Just a 20-yard punt by Kibble. The polls are open. We invite you to vote on the Offensive Player of the Century in the CBS Sportsline College Football Millennium Poll. I know the Blackledge family's been tying up the computer at home voting for Todd. Just click on NCAA football at cbs.sportsline.com or on America Online under keyword CBS Sportsline. How many votes has your family been able to cast for you? Bulger throws, man open, incomplete. Corey Ivy had a step on Roniel Whitaker. Well, we said we'd try to get you some clarification on the very bizarre play on the kickoff, and here's Michelle.
Well, we've spoken with John Sophie, Sean. He's the supervisor of the Big East officials. Here's what he said, that Lewis Daniels had possession of the ball and did not break the plane of the goal line. Therefore, it was an illegal forward pass. And once it was an illegal forward pass, it was dead. Had he broken the plane of the goal line, it would have been a safety, but he didn't. That's the explanation we've gotten. Back to you.
Well, that question of had he broken the plane of the end zone is very much up for debate. Bulger throws, flag down, the pass high and incomplete. There's a flag on the sideline as well, where Whitaker was jousting with Jerry Porter. Also a flag thrown right along the interior of the offensive line.
Sean, I'm watching Mark Bulger a little bit now. He's thrown the ball pretty well in this game so far, but he appears to be having a little problem with his finger again. He seems to be holding it and paying a little more attention to it than he was earlier.
On the offense. Pass interference. On the defense. The penalties will offset. Repeat the down.
Take a look at the previous play as he threw the ball. He get his hand in there or get it out of there in time. Yeah, he did. He stung it. And I was watching him after that play, and he was kind of favoring it. That's one of those things that it's not going to heal until the year's over. I mean, he's back and he can throw, but every time he dings it on a handoff or on a throw on a helmet, it's really going to hurt him.
So it's 2nd and 10 again. Again, they run the draw. Coburn into the secondary. Out of bounds inside the Hokie 40 at the 39. Run out by Ike Charlton. 23 yards for Coburn and a first down for West Virginia.
Sean, the reason the sprint draw is such an effective play is because of the way Virginia Tech likes to rush upfield. You get those guys coming upfield, you invite them to do that, and then you give it the ball on a delay handoff to your back. That time, Ike Charlton not in good position to make a play, and Coburn made a nice cut to the sideline.
You got a good block from the center, John Conte. First down, Coburn again. Leg tackled by Charlton. A gain of 3 to the 36. Coburn, another of those West Virginia players not highly recruited. Missed a lot of his senior year in high school due to an injury, a knee injury. When they played Rutgers and he had a big day, they said he was kind of hollering at the Rutgers side as if to say, you wish you recruited me out of New Jersey now, as he went for 141 against the Scarlet Knights. 2nd and 7. Virginia Tech leads 7-0. No timeouts left for West Virginia. Broken play. Bulger throws incomplete. Tried to make something out of it, looking for Jerry Porter, but it was incomplete. And they'll bring up 3rd down and 7.
Yeah, that was a completely wasted play. Miscommunication. Again, Bulger trying to do a lot at the line of scrimmage and get them into the right plays and out of wrong plays, and that time it just wasn't completely communicated to everybody.
Bulger, real student of the game, under pressure regularly today. He's the son of a quarterback. His dad, Jim, backed up Joe Theismann at Notre Dame in the early 70s. A very athletic family. His sister Katie, a senior in high school at Oakland Catholic in the Pittsburgh area, is already committed to play basketball here at West Virginia next year. He throws, caught. Very close to a first down at the 30. It looks like Corey Ivy is just a little bit short, although the official running in from the far side is going to give him a better spot near the 29. Nick Sorensen made the hit that might have prevented the first down.
Well, I thought his forward progress would have got him the first down. It's a nice throw on the quick slant. Good tackle by Sorensen and knocks him back, but I think he's going to get the first down. If not, Don Nehlen at this point probably go for it on this 4th and short.
close. And they have to bend over and look at it. Looks like a first down. It is a first down for Ivy, despite the fine tackle by Sorensen, who was the starting quarterback for 3 games last year for Virginia Tech. Moved over to offense when they had some injuries to the starter Al Clark. Played 3 games, moved back to defense this year.
This is a critical series for Mark Bulger in West Virginia. They've been able to kind of put that bad thing that happened to them with the penalty and the bad kick and the touchdown. They've got momentum again. They need to score some points.
Coburn, nifty cut, and he got belted just shy of the 25. Michael Hawks and Corey Bird combining on the stop. Coming up on the AXA halftime report, Tim Brando and Spencer Tillman bring you up to date on all the scores and highlights. They'll talk to Mississippi State head coach Jackie Sherrill about his 8th-ranked Bulldogs after their best start ever. All that and more coming up on the AXA halftime report. We're going to see Coach Sherrill's Bulldogs next Saturday here in the Home Depot College Football on CBS in Alabama. Take on the Crimson Tide. 2nd and 6. Coburn finds a hole and rips through the defense down to the 10. Nick Sorensen prevented a touchdown. Coburn spotted down at the 9 after a run of 16.
To give credit to this West Virginia offensive line, these guys are doing a nice job in here, opening up some lanes for Coburn. Watch the cutback, the good vision as he sees it right here. Watch him slip through this seam. Nice job, ran right by Nathaniel Williams. And West Virginia in business. Remember, they have no timeouts, so they've got to be really efficient with the clock right here with 1:20 left in the first half.
From the 9, 1st and goal. 1:15 left in the half. Coburn reverses his field and goes down near the 5. He's over 100 yards rushing now. We showed you the grab bag earlier. The 3 games he's rushed for 100 this year, West Virginia has won all 3. The 5 times he has not reached 100, they've lost all 5. That's been the barometer.
Hurry up offense for Mark Bulger. No timeouts. They got to kill the clock with the spike.
Oh my goodness. They didn't need that, did they? 52 seconds left. That's still enough time. You don't have to go to the spike and give up the play.
Now, you'd have thought they could got a play called in there at the line of scrimmage if you're in a hurry-up mode.
That's just, wow. You don't need to be in that big a hurry with 52 seconds to go. Ron Newman talking about all the little things, the close calls, the missed tackles, the drop balls, the untimely penalties, and we've seen a few of those, even though they're hanging in there today. Bulger to the end zone, caught, touchdown, Corey Ivy.
Sean, this is a designed underthrow. You show fade, you run him to the corner, and the ball is thrown on the back hip of the wide receiver. Charlton has no chance to make the play. It's designed to underthrow. You show fade, and you throw it short.
Jay Taylor trying to tie the game. He does. Was close as to possession by Ivy in bounds, but he did have the foot down. And a 5-yard touchdown reception. And reason to be happy for one of the few times this year for Don Nealon.
90.
Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Michelle Tafoya at rocking Mountaineer Field. They've come to life with a touchdown pass thrown by Mark Bulger to Corey Ivy. They're icing that finger when Bulger's on the sideline. He broke his finger against Syracuse, and we shook hands with him yesterday gingerly. It still is sore, the end of that finger. He says, every time I grip it, I really don't know how the ball is going to come out.
Well, and where it hurts and where you have a tendency to hurt it is like when you hand off.
Yeah.
You know, as you're trying to pull your hand out of there after giving the ball to the running back, you bump a shoulder pad or you bump a hip pad.
Jay Taylor bounces the kickoff down to the 20-yard line. And it's returned by Jarrett Ferguson to the 31.
Let's go back to the touchdown, and right here you have Ivy working on Charlton. 9 times out of 10 when you get inside technique, you run to the back pylon, you throw the fade. That's what Charlton was expecting here, but it was a designed underthrow. All timing by Bulger to Ivy, very well executed, and it fooled Ike Charlton.
And Ivy emerging as a terrific talent in this his senior year, playing behind great receivers Sean Foreman and David Saunders in recent seasons. Vick looking to throw it with under a minute left and a half, and he throws incomplete. Looking for Ricky Hall. Vick has thrown high. He's thrown behind his receivers a few times, just not quite as sharp as he has been. Ryan Brady put a little bit of heat, but on plenty of occasions, Vick has had time and still hasn't been able to make a completion.
What West Virginia has been able to do is they've had a good mixture of bringing pressure on him and giving him a lot of different looks, and they've confused him. He has not been comfortable here in the first half, reading coverages and throwing the football.
Vick throws too high and almost intercepted. Tyrone Stith had the ball sail over his head between his hands, and Perlo Bastine went diving along the turf for the INT.
Again, only a 3-man rush by West Virginia. They're dropping 8 in coverage, but they were still able to get pressure with only 3 and force the bad throw. Good job by Brady just fighting in there to get pressure.
3rd down and 10. They decide to run it, with West Virginia out of timeouts now because of a couple of miscues. They can't stop the clock and force a punt even if they wanted to, but I think Don Nealon will be happy to go to the locker room 7-7 against this bunch. Stith was tackled by Shannon Washington. That will likely be the end of the half.
There was no way Frank Beamer was going to throw the ball on that play. He let his young quarterback have 2 shots at it on that 2-minute drive. 3rd down, he says, let's run it and get into the locker room.
Very exciting first half, featuring some bizarre and perhaps controversial plays. Here's Michelle Tafoya.
All right, Coach, the controversial kickoff return play. Did you agree with the referee's call?
Well, they said he threw it forward at the 1-yard line. I guess that's the right call.
All right, Avon Coburn's been running very effectively against your defense. Why has he been able to do that?
Well, they do that little draw play and then the pass off of it, and he's a good guy about finding that hole, breaking it back. He's a good back.
Is your team aware that Penn State lost today, and so they're, in a better position to move up in the polls?
Well, I don't know about that. They announced it here in the stadium. I would have think they're aware of it.
How does it affect them, do you think?
I don't. I worry more about West Virginia and how that back's running and how they just gained momentum right here, right before half.
Coach, thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Frank Beamer in a fight with West Virginia. The Hokies and Mountaineers tied at 7 at halftime. Let's go directly to Tim Brando in New York. Halftime in Morgantown. Number 3, Virginia Tech tied with West Virginia 7 apiece. Friday on CBS. It's the new drama critics call mesmerizing and addictive. Catch an all-new Now and Again. See what all the talk's about Friday on CBS. Let's find out what Don Nealon is talking about. He's with Michelle.
That's right, and Virginia Tech averages 42 points a game. Your defense has held them to 7 in the first half. What have you done that's so effective?
Well, we're just playing a little bit of Mountaineer football. Our kids are playing hard and they want to win, and we've made a lot of mistakes, and if we can continue to play like we did the first half, we got a chance.
Again, their rushing defense tops in the nation, and yet your running back Avon Coburn has done stupendously. Why?
Well, you got to understand, if you don't run against this team, you're in big trouble because they're going to swarm you on the pass, and our game plan was to try to be 50-50. We've probably thrown too daggone much, but we got to run the ball, I guarantee, and that's what we're going to try to do.
Good luck, Coach. Thanks. Sean, back to you.
Okay. They did have a very nice mix of run and pass in the first half. 7-7 at halftime. Back with the second half kickoff after this. West Virginia and Virginia Tech tied at 7, ready for the start of the third quarter, and Jay Taylor will kick off for the Mountaineers. Tyrone Stith is back deep along with Cullen Hawkins. Virginia Tech comes in ranked number 3 in the nation, its highest ranking ever. A chance to move up to number 2 with Penn State's loss at home against Minnesota today. An unexpectedly tough battle. Unexpected to many, but not to these two teams. It's been a spirited rivalry over the years, regardless of the records. But it was Virginia Tech, Todd, that big favorite coming into today's game. What do the Hokies have to do to get rolling?
Well, I think defensively they've got to stop the run a little bit better. I mean, that's been their forte all season. Offensively, and they've got the ball right now, they've got to get their young quarterback into a little better rhythm. He was 2 of 11 in the first half, and they've got to get the football to Andre Davis. He has been their big play guy all season. He was shut out in that first half, not a single catch.
From the 20 after the touchback. First and 10 for the Hokies. They open in the eye. And the pass complete to Ricky Hall, but he's upended by the rapidly closing Scooter Davis. No gain on the play. Let's take a look at the halftime stats.
The things that really stand out, the rushing yards right there for West Virginia, 95 yards. Coming into the game, Virginia Tech allowing 60 yards a game, 1.8 yards per carry. West Virginia had some good balance there in the first half, and neither team with a turnover. That could be critical in the second half as well.
And the West Virginia coaches said that yesterday. Absolutely vital they stay away from turnovers. They committed 5 in the narrow loss to Miami last week. Chiron Stitt stacked up a gain of 1. Stitt's now rushed for 36 yards on 11 carries. He came in averaging 112 yards per game rushing to lead the Big East.
You know, the other thing that West Virginia's defense was afforded in that first half, West Virginia offensively held the football for 17 minutes. That allowed this defense to rest on the sidelines. They weren't on the field the whole first half, so they should be very well rested here for the second half.
And that's key due to the lack of depth among the Mountaineer defenders. Third down and 9 from the 21. Crowd roaring. Vick throws on the run. Caught, and it is a first down for Andre Davis. Needed to reach the 30. He got just across it before Perlo Bastine shoved him out.
Well, this play does 2 things for Virginia Tech. Number 1, it gives the quarterback, Michael Vick, a nice little easy completion, and it gets your big play guy, Andre Davis, into the ball game. Lets him break a little sweat because they're going to need him in this game. They've got to stretch this West Virginia defense a little bit, and he is the guy that has the speed and the big play ability to stretch the Mountaineer defense.
First catch of the day for Davis, the sophomore from Niskayuna, New York. Averaging 25.8 yards per catch to lead the Big East. The rush from the outside. He sidestepped Thurston. Vick throwing deep. Man open. It is caught. What a catch by Davis.
Sean, just what I thought coming out of the locker room. He has been your big play guy. You've got to find a way to get him the football, get him involved. They got it to him on a short pass, and now they get it to him on his specialty, running deep routes down the field, using that speed. Michael Vick lays it up and says, big fella, go and make a play for me. It's good coverage by Bastine, but the quarterback gave his receiver a chance, and Michael Vick, much needed confidence coming out of the box here in the third quarter.
57-yard gain. We talked about Davis leading the Big East in average per catch, and he'll help the average. His 5th catch this year of 50 yards or more. He has just 23 receptions. Stitt gets inside the 10, and then he's sent down to the turf at the 9-yard line. Barrett Green with help from Mark Thurston.
We were talking to Ricky Bussell earlier in the week, and he said that Chiron Stitt is probably the best all-around back that they've had here in the time that they've been here. And they've had some really good running backs. But he says Chiron is just the best combination. Runner, blocker, receiver. Had a great year this year.
The option. Vick keeps it. Broke 1 tackle. Lunged ahead near the 6-yard line. Boo Sensabaugh finally made the play with help from Kyle Caden. And it'll be third down. They need to reach the 2 for a first down. They're going to spot the ball right on the 7-yard line. 3 minutes gone by. Second half. 7-7 the score.
Wouldn't be surprised to see option again, maybe the other way to the wide side of the field. Keeping the ball in Michael Vick's hands with a chance to make a play.
The blitz. They run the fullback. Wayne Briggs. Go check that. Jarrett Ferguson with his rush down to the 3-yard line, short of a first down. So a decision for Frank Beamer. He wants to know how far they have to go before he decides on the field goal. And the way this game's going, I think he's wise to take the points.
On the road, your team is, you know, you're playing an underdog team right now that is really playing lights out. Take the points, take the lead.
So here's Shane Graham trying a 20-yard field goal, the equivalent of an extra point, although it's close to the right hash mark. Graham, one of the best in the nation, the senior from Dublin, Virginia, puts the Hokies back on top. 10-7, Virginia Tech early in the third quarter in Morgantown. Virginia Tech scores on its first possession of the second half. An 8-play, 77-yard drive. The big play, the 57-yard completion. Vic to Andre Davis. And the field goal by Graham put the Hokies back on top. So now Jimmy Kibble will kick off. Richard Bryant back deep with Lewis Daniels. Daniels is back there again, despite the problems he had on the kickoff in the first half. This one's going to come down to Bryant, taking the place of Sean Terry, out for the game with an injury. And I think Richard says Sean Terry can keep that job if he'd like, after the hit he took from Philip Hicks. Just a 12-yard return. Here's Michelle.
Well, you guys, Mark Bulger bruised his right thumb in the first half. That's the thumb on his throwing hand, where he also had that bad index finger. Right now, he's getting that hand iced. And as far as we know, he is out of this ball game, and Brad Lewis will come in as the backup for West Virginia. Back up to you.
Wow. Wow. Another season-long string of tough breaks for West Virginia. Lewis does have playing time this year. He's a sophomore. He hands off to Coburn. They give him an easy play on first down. And Coburn went out to the 17. Carl Bradley made the stop. Brad is a sophomore. His hometown of Shadyside, Ohio, very small, right along the Ohio-West Virginia border. And he saw time this year when Bulger was injured. Started the games against Navy and Rutgers, and the offense played well in both games. They scored 62 on Rutgers, 28 in the loss to Navy. The handoff again. Coburn gets a lead block from the fullback Anthony Green on the corner and has a first down and some breathing room for the offense. Out to the 28, where Jamel Smith is credited with the tackle. A gain of 11 for Coburn.
Boy, two good running plays and two great blocks out in front. Jerry Porter on the first play and Anthony Green on that play. Physical running by Coburn and the Mountaineers. Watch the fullback lead out on this play. They've been running the sprint draw inside. This time they take it outside, and Anthony Green with the block on Charlton. Two good runs in a row for the Mountaineers.
Jerry Porter, the motion man. Lewis, not a very convincing fake. Shows he has some mobility. And he turns it into a gain to the 32. Michael Hawks chased him out.
And the big thing for Brad Lewis right now, he has played and he has some experience, but he hasn't played here for the last couple weeks. He's got to get acclimated to the speed of the game. You know, it's a lot different in practice. He's got to get acclimated to the speed of the game, particularly against a team of this caliber. Virginia Tech, that is their forte, speed on defense. This first series is very critical for him to get a feel for the speed of the game right now.
Lewis passed for more than 5,000 yards at Shadyside High School. All-time leader in the history of that small program. Coburn again out to the 36-yard line, short of a first down. They'll need two to move the chains.
And the more that he can keep running the football, as you see, 123 yards, an outstanding day against this vaunted defense. The more success they can have running the football, the better things will be for Brad Lewis.
Two tight ends, two receivers out wide to the left, and Coburn alone back on 3rd and 2. He didn't, well, he might have. It's going to be very close. From where the official's running in on the near side, I think he does have the first down. Jamel Smith made the tackle. He's their leading tackler for this season. Was their leading tackler last year as well. It is a first down. Jamel Smith, one of the 11 semifinalists for the Butkus Award, as the best linebacker in the nation. Now in his senior season from Columbia, South Carolina. A very conservative approach with Lewis in there, but it has been successful. They've moved from the 14 to the 38. Lewis with a lot of time. He throws, caught. first down. And did the ball come out? They're ruling it an incomplete pass. Corey Ivy stripped of the ball by Nick Sorensen. Looked like it might be a catch. Might be a catch, then a fumble, but they settle on an incomplete pass.
Well, he's going for Ivy in the slot, but the post route by Jerry Porter up top was wide open. The safety bid on the short route, and he might have had a touchdown to Jerry Porter. Watch Porter run right by Sorensen, who jumped on the in route.
Well, perhaps if Bulger's in there, he sees that. We wonder about this.
Wow.
Didn't look like he ever really had firm possession of that. 2nd and 10. Lewis running for his life. Again makes it a gain across the 40. Out to the 43, pursued by Chad Beasley and Chris Cyrus. A couple of reserve defensive linemen in there right now. But Cyrus sees a lot of playing time, as does Beasley, as they rotate 8 players regularly among that front 4 on defense for Tech.
That's a real luxury that Bud Foster has. I mean, he's got depth at the defensive line position, and if he wants those guys to play, you know, the way they play, chasing the football every down, he's got to keep them fresh, and he can do that with that rotation.
Out of the shotgun, Lewis throws, caught by Jerry Porter. First down, out to the 50-yard line. Roniel Whitaker threw him out of bounds. First down, Mountaineers. Time now for our Army teammate segment. Every offseason since 1995, the Virginia Tech Hokies have had an Ironman competition. In 1998, defensive tackle Carl Bradley became the first Hokie to repeat as champion. He had surgery in the spring on his shoulder that prevented a three-peat, and the trophy remained with the defensive tackles as Chad Beasley won the 99 competition. They have an array of competitions: weightlifting, driving the truck, all sorts of things. They're on to that play now. The delay doesn't work for Coburn. He's thrown for a loss by Ben Taylor. There are the teammates. There's Chad Beasley. His dad, Tom, was a star at Virginia Tech in the mid-70s, went on to play for the Steelers. He's a sophomore from Gate City, Virginia. His sister Carrie played on the volleyball team at Virginia Tech. And the other lineman, Carl Bradley, senior from Lynchburg, Virginia. 2nd and 13, 10th play of the possession. They snap it at 1. Look out, no chance to avoid John Engelberger. 4th sack for the Hokies, and Lewis is down back inside his own 40-yard line.
Well, here's Engelberger here, and what happens is the tackle thought he was getting help from his back, but Coburn came up too far inside and wasn't able to stay in there and help on Engelberger. They're trying to get 2 bodies on both Engelberger and Moore. That time, Matt Wilson didn't have any help from his running back.
Engelberger came as a walk-on to Virginia Tech, a 210-pound tight end. They bulked him up to more than 260, now on scholarship. He had scholarship offers from other smaller schools, but wanted to walk on to try to play at Virginia Tech. The screen to Coburn. Still on his feet. Down to the 45, short of the first down. And it makes it an interesting situation now for Don Nealon, but I would guess on 4th and 5, with his conservative nature, his team in the ball game, punt him in deep, let that defense keep trying to play well.
Yeah, there's a lot of time in the football game, and your punter has done a good job for you in the ball game. And field position wise, you've done a good job with your kicking game. Hope your defense can come up with a big play, a big stop, and get the football out around the 50-yard line.
You also have the relatively inexperienced quarterback in there. You'd likely need him to make a play under pressure in the passing game. Ricky Hall waiting for the punt from Fazzolari. Good snap this time. And a very high punt. Coming toward the near sideline and into the end zone. Landed inside the 5, but Richard Bryant couldn't get there in time to down it. 45-yard punt, but just a net of 25. The Hokies begin at their 20 after this.
The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by Merrill Lynch. Web TV, Best Western, and by Suzuki.
(10-7). Virginia Tech has the lead more than midway through the third quarter. Sean McDonough, Todd Blackledge, Michelle Tafoya at Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia. The 3-5 Mountaineers hang in there against the #3 team in the nation. With a great chance it would appear to be #2 with the Penn State loss today. On the roll, Vic finds his target. Jarrett Ferguson. Short of a first down for the gain of 9. Tomorrow on the NFL Today, join Jim, Craig, Randy, and Jerry for all the latest NFL news. Jerry will visit with his former quarterback Brett Favre, as Favre is on the verge of his 117th consecutive start, an NFL record. Randy will talk to Steve Young about his future, plus a tribute to Chicago Bears great, the NFL's all-time leading rusher Walter Payton. All coming up tomorrow at noon Eastern on the NFL Today. And then for all the scores and highlights, stay with the gentleman for the NASDAQ halftime report. They're just short of the first down. Vic ended the first half over his last 6, but he's 4 for 4 in this half.
And you can just see even those early completions, he's got a little different spring in his step here now in the third quarter. That time coming out on the bootleg. West Virginia lost contain, let him get out there on the corner.
Frank Beamer over there helping with the chains.
The more you can do, man. That's the motto in the coaching business. The more you can do, the longer you'll stay around.
Well, we still haven't totally solved the problem. When play resumes, it'll be 2nd and inches. Many offensive coaches think of this as a free down to perhaps dig into the bag of tricks. Virginia Tech plays it conservatively, and there's nothing wrong with first downs. Chiron Stiff picked it up as he crossed the 30. These were the BCS standings. If we had a couple months, we could explain the different polls and formulas that factor into these point totals you see on the right. But the one thing that has worked against Virginia Tech has been its strength of schedule or lack thereof. But with Penn State losing today, you'd have to think Virginia Tech has a great chance to move up.
Yeah, Florida's in a tough ball game. Tennessee, a tough game tonight against Notre Dame. Kansas State scratched one out.
Don Nehlen in the coaches poll this week voted Virginia Tech #1. So I think they've been the most consistent on all phases of the game, offense, defense, and special teams. Flag down. Vic belted down. Ball's loose. And are they ruling Vic down? Yes, they are.
I think the penalty is going to be holding against Virginia Tech. They tried to throw a wide receiver screen, and it was snuffed out by West Virginia, and that forced Michael Vick to tuck it and go.
Holding on the offense.
And with West Virginia hanging right there again today, Todd, you can see what Don Nehlen's talking about what an agonizing season has been. I mean, there's another play that's ever so close to being a fumble, and his team would have it around the 30-yard line, and yet Vick is ruled down.
Well, good pursuit by West Virginia coming inside out, and he was down before the ball came out. It was a good call by the officiating crew. But you know, that happens when you're having a losing season. Those kind of bounces go that way.
Right.
I mean, it's a crazy thing how that happens. When you're having a special season or a charm kind of season, those bounces and those calls go your way. It's the way it is in football.
And Don Nehlen's had a couple of those seasons. He's had 2 undefeated regular seasons. He says that's what it takes. You have to be good, but you also have to be fortunate. They did accept the penalty, pushing the Hokies back to the 21. 1st and 20. Inside handoff to Jarrett Ferguson, the fullback, sophomore from Goodview, Virginia. He had a good view of the 25-yard line as he went down. Jarrett's also on the Virginia Tech track and field team. He won the Atlantic 10 long jump championship outdoors 2 years ago with a leap of more than 23 feet. Here's a good look at Jarrett. Fullbacks don't get many touches in this offense.
No, it's a physical I formation, give the ball to the tailback, but they throw a few bones every now and then just to keep them doing their job.
2nd and 16 out of the shotgun. The pump fake and the throw back to Ferguson on the near side. Another touch for Jarrett. And he gets roughed up along the near sideline by the inspired Mountaineer defenders, Scooter Davis and Barrett Green.
I think Steve Dunlap and Don Nehlen have to be thrilled with the way their defenses played today. And again, they played well last week against Miami until they got tired, and especially when you consider their offense turned the ball over 5 times. They really played well. But they are playing another fine ball game today against a very explosive Virginia Tech offensive team.
The West Virginia defense started the day ranked number 103 in the nation in total defense out of 114 Division I-A schools. Virginia Tech came into today's game best in the Big East on 3rd down. They haven't converted today. 0 for 3. Vick flush from the pocket, but again has time. Throws wide open. 1st down. Browning Wynn, the backup tight end, to the 42-yard line of West Virginia. I mentioned earlier they don't throw very often to the tight end, but when they do, it's usually a big play, and that one yields 29.
Sean, West Virginia chose to only rush 3 here, and that allowed Michael Vick a lot of time. Good protection as he steps away from the initial rush by Lake. You just can't give any quarterback this much time. And Steve Dunlap talked about we had to work on our scramble rules. When he moves out of the pocket, we have to adjust our coverage. You see the hit after the throw, but Michael Vick had plenty of time to throw that ball downfield after the original patterns had kind of gone away. It was a scramble and an adjustment by the tight end Wynn.
Wynn's a sophomore from Jonesville, Virginia, with just his 5th reception of the season. Another good athlete, 36.5-inch vertical leap. Runs the 40 in 4.62. At 6'3", 231 pounds. They hand it off straight ahead to Stiff across the 40 and down at the 39, tackled by Barrett Green and Ryan Brady.
Stop made number 43.
We're at Mountaineer Field in Morgantown, West Virginia. Number 3 Virginia Tech, undefeated at 7-0, trying to go to 8-0 for the first time since 1905 in a real battle with West Virginia. 10-7 the score in the final 3 minutes of the 3rd quarter. Sean McDonough with Todd Blackledge and Michelle Tafoya. Our telecast produced by Craig Silver and directed by Mike Arnold. Executive producer of CBS Sports is Terry Ewert. Vick on the option kick. He ran right into Barrett Green. Well, the coaches might not be thrilled with the way the defense has played all year, but Barrett Green is a notable exception.
Yeah, as you said, coming into the game, 26 more tackles than the next closest guy on the team. Plays with great speed, plays with a high motor, and has really played from his Willie linebacker position the way that they want the linebacker to play here in West Virginia. 9 tackles today, 8 last week against Miami.
3rd down and 7 at the West Virginia 40. Under 2 minutes left in the 3rd. Timeout called by Vick. He sensed the Mountaineers were getting ready to come after him. 10-7 Hokies in the 3rd. Big play upcoming for Virginia Tech. Looking at 3rd down and 7 at the West Virginia 40-yard line, leading by 3 late in the 3rd.
You called it, Sean. West Virginia showed blitz on that last play when he called timeout. I would expect they come after him here anyway.
Vick with the Mountaineers up around the line of scrimmage, look to be changing the play. He's running out of time. Snap at 3. Short drop, and it is juggled by Hall and almost intercepted. Ricky Hall couldn't gather it in. Scooter Davis had the coverage. And decision time for Frank Beamer at the 40-yard line of West Virginia. 4th down and 7.
Ricky Hall hasn't had as many big plays this year as he had a year ago, but he's been very steady. And this is a little bit behind him. And Hall trying to pull it in, but Scooter Davis, Steve Dunlap said he's an overachiever. You know, he's just a guy that plays as hard. If he had everybody playing that way, he'd be happy.
This is the kind of situation you might watch out for the fake.
Yeah, if we see John Engelberger go in motion, the left wing back, watch the fake, the throwback to the tight end. Here it comes. Here it comes. Ran out of time. They ran out of time, and they showed their hand a little bit there.
On the offense.
Well, we saw Frank Beamer take a while before he sent the punting unit on. He was upset last week.
Now they're going to kick it. He just said kick it now.
Yeah. Maybe we had the fake on there.
Yeah, they did.
With Engelberger coming in motion. Frank Beamer wanted to fake a punt last week. We get hit, but they didn't have enough men on the field. And he was exasperated about that because he thought they had it. It was just the kind of down and distance, and the guy like Kibble, who's capable of executing the fake, you thought they might try it.
Well, they still have it in the bag. That's the one thing. They showed the motion, but they didn't show what the fake would be. High kick by Kibble. The Mountaineers will let it bounce.
And what a bounce it takes for Kibble. Great kick. Out of bounds at the 3-yard line. He got the bounce back. A 43-yard punt. And yet again, the Mountaineers will begin inside their own 10-yard line. Well, it doesn't look like Mark Bulger's going to return to this game. The starting quarterback for West Virginia, already playing with a broken finger, suffered a thumb injury. Brad Lewis in for his second series, and what a place to begin for the third time in this game. West Virginia starts from inside its own 5. They started the 5, the 3, and the 1. From the 3, Coburn gets 1 out to the 4. Chad Beasley made the tackle. This is the scoring summary. It was a scoreless first quarter. In the second, on 3rd down and 2, Andre Kendrick down his own sideline to make it 7-0 Virginia Tech. On 3rd and goal, West Virginia scored a 5-yard touchdown. Bulger to Corey Ivy. And then in the 3rd quarter, after the first possession of the half for Virginia Tech, Shane Graham's short field goal put the Hokies back on top. We're approaching 1 minute left in the 3rd. 2nd and 9 for West Virginia. Lewis going to throw out of his own end zone. Gets rid of it. Incomplete. And they do throw the flag. That's going to be grounding in his own end zone. And it'll be a safety if that's the call.
Intended for Jerry Porter.
Well, there
the
was a
referee threw the flag way behind the line of scrimmage. Nobody out near where the ball landed.
There was a receiver in the area, but he had broken his route to the inside, and the ball was thrown outside.
There was no penalty on the play. There was a receiver in the area.
That's a good call.
Good teamwork by the officials. The referee behind the quarterback didn't see anybody near the ball, about 20 yards up the field.
Yeah, there's a receiver that's going to be out here, but he breaks his route in. Actually, right here, there is a receiver running to the sideline, but just didn't make a play on the football.
That's close. Frank Beamer doesn't like it. And each coach has had reason to exercise his vocal cords in the direction of the officials today. Seems like those breaks have evened out.
Yeah.
3rd down and 9. Again out of his own end zone. He was stripped. This will be a safety. Chris Cyrus knocked the ball out. Lewis got it back in the end zone, and the Hokies get the safety and a 12-7 lead.
Well, they consider Chris Cyrus to be a 3rd starter. He plays behind Corey Moore, who was out got kicked in the shin on that series before. And Cyrus, they consider him to be like a starter. Watch him come in and get his hand on the football, a la Lawrence Taylor, and force the safety. We talked about the depth that they have at the defensive line position. They keep them fresh. They keep fresh legs in the ball game. Brad Lewis, new quarterback in the game, didn't protect the football, and 2 points for the Hokies. And the Hokies, when they get you in a situation like this, they smell blood. The special teams set them up. They pinned them down deep, and they made it pay off here with the safety.
Corey Moore on the sideline, being kicked in the shin, knows the signal. Cyrus with a big play, the senior from Rustburg, Virginia. And had Lewis been able to hang on to that ball, he was going to have some time to get the throw off because there wasn't anybody else close enough to apply the heat within another second or 2.
West Virginia has done a good job of protecting their quarterback today, particularly inside between the guards and centers. The quarterbacks have been able to stand in there and make some throws. But that was just a good play by Chris Cyrus coming on the outside. You know, you talk about Virginia Tech special teams and how good they've been under Frank Beamer, and you automatically think block kicks and returns for touchdowns, but just the field position, the good execution by the punt team and the coverage, pinning them down 3 times, you know, that wears you down, and eventually it results in points for the Hokies.
A free kick from the 20-yard line. They elect to put the ball on the tee, and if Jay Taylor kick it off. Tyrone Stiff, the deepest Hokie, at his own 15. Line drive kick right to Stiff. Caught it at the 17. Flags down. 2 flags thrown. Stiff finally taken down at the 50. They were in more than 20 yards before Mountaineer was able to get a hand on him on that line drive kickoff. But there were 2 flags thrown. We would expect an illegal block on the return.
And number 39, Quincy Wilson.
I think they got Philip Summers, a defensive back.
Illegal block in the back during the return. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Next week, the Home Depot College football on CBS Sports brings you regional action. Some of you will see the battle in Pittsburgh, the last game ever at Pitt Stadium, as the Panthers play host to Notre Dame. Others will see Mississippi State trying to remain undefeated at Alabama. Stay with Tim and Spencer for the Axe at halftime report for each of those games. Andre Kendrick in at tailback. Vick wrapped up by Barrett Green at the 33. A gain of 2 for Michael Vick.
As good as the West Virginia defense has played in terms of making plays and making Virginia Tech earn everything, they need to try to come up with a turnover here for their offense. They've got to try to figure out a way to give their offense the short field against the Hokies here.
Neither team has turned it over today. Let's get an update on the Arkansas Ole Miss game as they look at Perlo Bastine. Here's Tim.
Sean and Todd, take a look at this. Opening kick, Arkansas and Ole Miss, Vaught Hemingway Stadium. Deuce McAllister takes off. This is why when you win the toss, you accept the football, guys. And remember, Mississippi State has Alabama. These 2 teams are future opponents for Jackie Sherrill as well. If they go 11-0, they'll have to earn it.
Arkansas trying to get it turned around and played better the last couple of weeks, but Deuce McAllister, we saw him returning kicks against Alabama, did a great job. I mean, he is really a good kick returner.
Well, this would be a big loss for West Virginia if Bastine can't return. He doesn't seem to be seriously injured as he walks off, but he's a 4-year veteran of a lot of playing time. They already lost Nate Terry last week to a broken arm, so they're a bit undermanned in the secondary already. Richard Bryant has come in to play the corner.
Let's see if Ricky Bussell doesn't try to go right after Bryant here right away.
Vick looking in that direction. He is going after Bryant and has a man wide open. Dropped. Andre Davis got his hands on it and couldn't haul it in. He had to lay out for it, and he ran by Richard Bryant with ease.
I mean, we talked about the quarterback getting used to the speed of the game. Well, Richard Bryant has to get used to the speed of the game coming off the sideline cold. There's no way that he can be loose or ready to play. And Andre Davis just ran right by him, and it's a great throw by Michael Vick. He's made those plays this year. Doesn't come down with this one.
And that was also just about as much use of the hands by Davis that we saw Corey Ivy of West Virginia flag for in the first half. A big call. Offensive pass interference. Bryant's out of the ball game. 3rd down and 8. Here comes the blitz. Vick gets rid of it, but it's incomplete. Bounced in to Ricky Hall. And Jimmy Kibble will come on the punt with 5 seconds left in the 3rd quarter.
Good pressure again by West Virginia. Steve Dunlap called the blitz on the inside. It forced the quick throw and a good call. It did, in fact, bounce up into Ricky Hall.
Here's Jimmy Kibble. Perlo Bastine, injured a moment ago, back in and ready to field the punt, standing at his own 25. A short kick. Kind of a hit-or-miss day for Kibble. That's one of the misses. Out of bounds at the 37. There is a flag down behind the line of scrimmage near kicker. Yes, they did. It's a 5-yard penalty. It will not give them a first down. But at the very least, Frank Beamer will want to punt it again because that was a 29-yard punt.
Well, we've seen Kibble with a couple short punts. Gary Tompkins is the guy. You know, there's no rule in college football that if you get blocked into it. In the NFL, they'll waive that off. In college football, they say it's still on the defender. Wasn't much. But technically, that is the rule, that you can't use the excuse that you were blocked into the kicker.
Right. And apparently you're allowed absolutely no contact at all with the kicker. Question might be now, Frank Beamer might want to punt in the other direction. There really isn't all that much breeze to talk about here, but there is no time left on the clock in the third quarter. I think they'll have an untimed play here.
We have running into the kicker on the defense. 5-yard penalty, which was accepted. The quarter will be extended for one play. Still 4th down.
Well, Tompkins didn't exactly light up the punter, but the 5-yard walk up to the 38-yard line. And they have 10 men up on the line again. They came close once in the first half. Bastine potted at the 30. And he is spun down to the 32, a 32-yard punt and a 2-yard return. And that is finally the end of the third quarter with the score. Virginia Tech 12 and West Virginia 7. We'll return to Mountaineer Field right after this message and a word from your local station. Virginia Tech and West Virginia head to the fourth quarter in Morgantown with the third-ranked team in the nation leading by 5. And West Virginia begins this possession from its own 32, 1st and 10. Brad Lewis still at quarterback. And the star of the offense has been Avon Coburn today. And since Lewis came into the ballgame, a very conservative, close to the vest attack for West Virginia. But they're still in the game. Well, and I think they had to let him get a feel for the game and a feel for the speed of the game. He should have that now, and he's going to have to make some plays. You know, Dan Simmerl told us when we met with him, he didn't know he had a backup quarterback until Lewis came in and played against Syracuse. But he played very well. Now he knows he's got a backup. Right now, Brad Lewis is a starting quarterback. And he'll compete for the starting job next year. Nice pass there to Jerry Porter. First down, out to the 49-yard line. They do have a couple of freshmen redshirting this year who'll compete for the job next year, and they have a JC quarterback coming in as well. Lewis took a pop from Corey Moore, but got the throw off to Porter. The senior from Washington, D.C., Jerry Porter's played all over the football field in his career here in Morgantown. Has played wide receiver, was the starting safety last year, has played quarterback, and is now back at wide receiver. He's got a lot of skills. I mean, he's a guy who can make plays for you if you get the ball in his hands. 42-inch vertical leap at 6'3". Lewis going deep, and it is incomplete. He was looking for Porter again, and Roniel Whitaker had the coverage. Earlier in the season, Porter was still on defense, playing safety, where he started last year. And he scored a touchdown defensively against Miami of Ohio, ran an interception back, 68 yards for a touchdown. And then last week, on offense, first touchdown of the ball game. On West Virginia's second play from scrimmage at Miami, that was a 43-yarder. So he scored on both sides of the ball this year. He's also 1 for 2 passing this season. 2nd and 10. Incomplete pass thrown by Lewis, looking for Ivy. Charlton had the coverage. Here's Michelle.
Well, you guys, a lot of celebration on the Virginia Tech bench after the safety that put the Hokies up by 5. Defensive line coach Charlie Wiles had to settle his team down, remind his players that this game is far from over, and now is the time to put a glove on the Mountaineers, as he said. Back to you.
Well, Charlie knows that 12-7 you're winning, but a touchdown and you're behind again. So a lot of football left to be played for the Hokie defense.
4 wide receivers. They've gotten a bit more frisky now with Lewis at the helm with the good field position. Throwing on first and second down. Blitz off the corner and the pass incomplete. Intended for Antonio Brown off his hand into the turf. As Corey Bird, the safety, blitzing off the edge. 34 yards passing for Lewis. They had 93 before Bulger left with the injured thumb. Must be devastating for Bulger, winding toward the end of his career. The all-time passing leader. He's the record holder in 25 different categories here at West Virginia. He cried on the sideline at Syracuse when he had to leave that game. And undoubtedly very upset today about having to depart. The punt by Fazzolari. The fair catch by Hall at the 12. A 38-yard punt. 13:37 left. The Hokies lead by 5.
The Home Depot College Football on CBS is sponsored by America Online. The Home Depot, Sun America, and by GM Goodwrench Service Plus.
Let's go! Come on!
1st and 10, Virginia Tech. The Hokies leading by 5. Started their own 12-yard line with 13:37 left in the 4th quarter. Tyrone Stitt in the eye behind the fullback, Jarrett Ferguson. Michael Vick's been much more effective throwing here in the second half. Rolls away from the pressure. Throws on the move off the hands of his intended receiver, Bob Slokowski, the 3rd-string tight end. It'll be 2nd and 10. Our scholar athlete of the game is West Virginia defensive tackle Greg Robinette. He's been standing tall in the classroom with a 3.45 grade point average. In exercise physiology, he hopes to go to med school. Rigid Tools' commitment to the investment in our future is shown today by donating $1,000 to the University of West Virginia's General Scholarship Fund. That should actually read West Virginia University's General Scholarship Fund. He's married. His wife, Amanda, is a nursing student here at West Virginia University. On 2nd and 10. A yard, and that's it for Michael Vick. He ran into Chris Edmonds, the junior from Pittsburgh out of Woodland Hills High School. He moved to Pittsburgh while he was in high school from Atlanta. Wasn't going to play football before his junior year in high school. The football coach, George Novak, there saw him in gym class, said, hey, you have to come out for football. And that's how Edmonds wound up playing football his junior year.
Steve Dunlap really likes his versatility. He says he and Barrett Green offer them a lot of versatility. They can rush the passer. They can drop in coverage. They're both guys who can really run and play with a high motor.
Big play here. The Mountaineers to get excellent field position if they can hold on 3rd and 9. Vick throws on the run, and it is caught. What a play by Davis on a low throw. Andre Davis has the first down out of the 24, gain of 11.
Good throw by Michael Vick. Chris Edmonds was in good position in case Vick wanted to run the football. Watch as he rolls to his left. Edmonds has him right there in his sights. Vick has to throw under duress, and Davis did a nice job coming back to the football and getting his arms underneath the football for the first down. Good throw on the move by Michael Vick. Of course, he's a left-hander, so that throw a little easier for him than a right-handed quarterback moving that way. Still a good throw.
The pitch to Stitt. Staggered a little bit. And now he spins out near the 30. Well, there are a lot of folks who compare Michael Vick to Donovan McNabb. They say he's a left-handed Donovan McNabb, the former great Syracuse quarterback, now with the Philadelphia Eagles.
And there's a lot of guys here in Morgantown that compare him to Major Harris.
Yeah.
They remember what he was like, but Donovan McNabb, the most recent guy that did the kind of things Michael Vick can do. Michael Vick throws the ball very, very well. And I think Paul Pasqualoni even said when they played Virginia Tech that at this stage in their career, Michael Vick a little more mature, a little ahead of where Donovan McNabb was at the same stage.
Syracuse tried to recruit Vick. He throws, And the play dropped for no gain. Ricky Hall tripped up by Corey McIntyre. As a matter of fact, on the recruiting visit to Syracuse, Vic was hosted by Donovan McNabb. Michael Vick said, well, I don't want to go somewhere and be the next Donovan McNabb. I want to go someplace and be the first Michael Vick. And that is exactly what he is.
He's doing that. And, you know, Ricky Bussell did a great job with him last year. Even though they knew they were going to redshirt him, they took him on all the games. They dressed him for every game. They took him through the whole pregame routine and game plan routine. And that has really paid off for him this season, his first as a player.
Virginia Tech has called timeout with 11:05 remaining. Another big third down play upcoming for the Hokies. Virginia Tech now has one timeout remaining. They converted a third down a moment ago. This is a shorter yardage to make. Third down and 4. Hokies at their own 30. Andre Kendrick in at tailback. They pitch it to him. He can throw, but he's not going to try. He's belted out of bounds, and there's a flag down thrown at the feet of Michael Vick. Back in the middle of the field. Boo Sensabaugh knocked Kendrick out of bounds. And it would be short of a first down, but there was a flag thrown at the feet of Vick.
Well, I think they're going to call Mark Thurston for a personal foul. Michael Vick tossed this ball and was kind of responsible for blocking the end, just prevent the backside penetration. What a costly penalty.
Personal foul on the defense. 15-yard penalty. First down.
They had him stopped short of the yardage.
Well, here's Thurston, and he's going to come and get tangled up with Vick after Vick makes the pitch. Now, Michael Vick is just kind of minding his own business, and the shot with the shoulder, unnecessary by Thurston.
Clearly a penalty.
Boy, oh boy, what a costly penalty.
There have been plays like that all season long that have really hurt the Mountaineers. Stiff has a first down to the 44-yard line. And when your team struggling and you make plays like that, ordinarily the other team capitalizes, and sometimes very quickly. Time now for our CBS Sportsline stat of the game. Average yards on first down. Huge edge there for Virginia Tech. For complete college football coverage, go to cbs.sportsline.com.
And that's pretty much been the norm for Virginia Tech. Coming into the ball game, they average 6.2 yards per play on first down. Good mixture of run pass, and boy, I'll tell you, when you gain that many yards on first down, it just gives you so much flexibility in your offense.
And yet, just the 10 points scored by the offense on first and 10. Stiff up the middle for 1. Driven back by Greg Robinette and Ryan Brady. Brady's had a fine game today. He's another player for West Virginia who's played all over. Fullback, middle linebacker, rush linebacker, defensive tackle. He was a tailback in high school. Hard to imagine that now that he weighs 280 pounds. But at Harbor Fields on Long Island, New York, he rushed for 1,700 yards. As a senior, led all of Long Island in rushing.
He just kind of got too big to play that. They said he kept getting bigger, came as a linebacker, and kept moving closer to the ball because he kept getting bigger.
Play clock at 1. Vick's sinker. Too hot to handle for Emmett Johnson. Next weekend, top tour stars, including David Duval, Fred Couples, Ben Crenshaw, and John Daly, join forces with host Greg Norman at an annual, very enjoyable event, the Franklin Templeton Shark Shootout. That's next Saturday and Sunday right here on CBS Sports. Well, another third down on this drive.
The only difference is much different field position. Even if you stop them here, Virginia Tech has the ability to pin your offense down very deeply. But they need to make a play on defense here.
Play clock. Did he get the timeout? Apparently they're going to give it to him just as the clock ticked to 0. But Frank Beamer exasperated because they are out of timeouts. And it goes out of bounds at the 15-yard line. All day West Virginia has had the long field to traverse. They're trying to console Davis on the sideline. That could have been the catch that puts the game away.
Yep. With this defense, yeah.
Tonight on CBS, America's Night of Heroes is all new, beginning with early edition. Then Samo and Arsenio on an all-new martial law, followed by Chuck Norris in Walker, Texas Ranger. It's all new and it's all tonight on CBS. On first down, Avon Coburn, tackled by Corey Bird at the 20. Gain of 5, Florida winner. And with Penn State's loss, the hopes for being in the national championship game for these one-loss teams get brighter and brighter.
Yeah, and definitely you look at Florida and Tennessee. Tennessee with a big ball game to get tonight against Notre Dame. Good strength of schedule down towards the end of the season, and very much in the big picture.
Coburn, the ball carrier. And looking at the big picture again, Todd, Virginia Tech, national television today, they still have some people who doubt them because of the relative lack of the strength of schedule. They're playing in the Big East Conference, which some people around the country don't respect. So if they're looking to make a definitive statement today, they haven't done that.
No, but as we saw that score, Florida struggled with Vanderbilt. They didn't make a very definitive statement today either, and obviously Penn State didn't make a definitive statement. So it seems like it's been that kind of a Saturday, perhaps. Virginia Tech next week is also a huge test with Miami coming into town.
Coburn spinning. It'll be very close to a first down with 8:07 left. They were the 3 teams, the top 3 starting the day. Penn State now 9-1. You see Virginia Tech, and it is a first down, we can tell you. Strength of schedule, you wiped your alma mater right out of there, was number 58. It's one of the reasons why in the BCS formula they are number 3, but they've won convincingly. And when you look at comparative scores, and Frank Beamer raised this point when we chatted with him, you can make a case. I mean, they had an easier time with Clemson than did Florida State. Of course, where they played the game sometimes factors in. Now a timeout called by Lewis, leaving the Mountaineers with 2 remaining. 7:51 left. First and 10, Mountaineers when we come back. Back in Morgantown, nearly midway through the 4th quarter, Virginia Tech leads by 5. Just to go back to what we were talking about, I agree with Don Nealon. If I voted any of these polls, I would have voted Virginia Tech number 1 coming into this week for the exact reason that he mentioned. To me, they have been the most consistently impressive team at all facets of the game. Spin around by Lewis. Doesn't have anywhere to throw it, so he runs and is tackled. After a gain of 3, they want a face mask or a late hit out of bounds on the sideline. Look at Don Nealon. Ben Taylor took him down. Maybe they thought there was some holding downfield as well.
Yeah, I think they thought there was holding downfield on their receivers that Lewis was looking for.
There's nothing wrong with that tackle.
No, the tackle was fine, but it was potentially right. No, I don't know.
That wasn't it.
Yeah, that could have been a penalty on Anthony Green.
He was actually lucky that Green didn't get called for the smacks to the face. On the run, Lewis picked up 3 to the 28, 2nd down and 7. Short drop, and that was not a good-looking play. John Engelberger dropped Coburn for a loss back to the 22.
Just a great instinct play by Engelberger. They tried to run the Statue of Liberty play, fake like they're throwing down the field, and then just, again, a play where you try to take advantage of the aggressive nature of the defensive ends. But watch Engelberger actually playing inside at the tackle. Cyrus was in as the defensive end. Engelberger came from his tackle spot and played that play perfectly.
He got past the block of the center, John Conte. Cooper Rigo now in at tailback. Down 3rd down and 13. And he can't even finish his drop. Lewis buried by Corey Moore. 3rd sack for Corey Moore and the 6th for the Hokies.
Well, Corey Moore has been somewhat quiet since early in the ball game, but he feels it right now, working one-on-one against the left tackle, Matt Wilson. And Wilson no match for Corey Moore. They've been giving Wilson help with the running back. That time they tried to get Coburn out into the pattern, and Wilson got beat.
We talk about the difficulties for West Virginia this year. Last year they had the veteran Solomon Page at the tackle position. He left a year early for the NFL. Probably cost himself a lot of money by doing so. Booming punt by Fazzolari. Hall, airborne, and lucky that he didn't really get drilled in midair. A 56-yard punt and a 10-yard return. Brian Lorenz made the tackle. 6 sacks today, 9 sacks last Saturday night over Pittsburgh. 43 now for the season to lead the Big East Conference.
And we talked about the depth that they have on their defensive line and how they're able to keep fresh bodies in there that can continually chase the quarterback and chase the football. It's a huge advantage for the Hokie defense.
1st and 10 with Andre Kendrick, the tailback. And he takes the toss from Vick. And drives out to the 43. Barry Tompkins took him down. We remind you, doubleheader action tomorrow. The NFL on CBS begins at 1. Kansas City, Indianapolis, Buffalo, Washington, Baltimore, and Cleveland. The former Browns, now known as the Ravens, return to Cleveland for the first time. Jacksonville at Atlanta. In the late games, Pittsburgh at San Francisco, Denver at San Diego, Cincinnati, and Seattle at 4:15. Our coverage begins at noon Eastern time with the NFL Today, brought to you by Southwest Airlines. 2nd down and 9. 5.5 minutes left. Vick, a lot of time again, going deep again, and it is caught this time by Andre Davis at the 6-yard line. 51 yards of the completion. 2nd pass caught by Davis of more than 50 yards today. And his 6th of the year. He beat Perlo Bastine.
And give credit to Ricky Bussell. Andre Davis dropped a sure touchdown a few moments ago. They go right back at him. They say, we're not going to let you get your head down. You're still a big part of our offense. You're still our big play threat. We'll come right back to you with the football. And this time he locks it up. I just slipped to the restroom a minute ago and I ran into the wide receiver coach, Tony Ball, who was in there at the same time. He said he was shaking his head. He couldn't believe that Andre dropped that touchdown. He said he doesn't drop many. Well, he didn't drop that one.
Kendrick moved out of the backfield. Stiff moves into the end zone. Touchdown, Virginia Tech. And they'll go for 2.
Virginia's defense has played valiantly all day, but they have just run out of stops here. Physical, give to the tailback, good blocking up front by Virginia Tech. Sean, I think one of the best things about Virginia Tech is I've watched them over the last couple years is their strength and conditioning program. We saw the Iron Hokie contest. Mike Gentry is their strength and conditioning coach, and I think this is a team that really puts a lot of emphasis, does a great job with the speed work and the strength work and the power work. They're a physical football team that wears people out in the 4th quarter.
This is their first try for 2 this season. Vick's going to try to throw for it. Green stripped the ball. There is a flag down in the end zone. For the moment, the try for 2 has failed. Frank Beamer saying that's my bad. And they might get another chance at it, depending on what the flag's about. They will get another shot at it.
Holding on the defense. The try will be repeated from the 1.5 yard line.
This is Ricky Hall coming in motion, going to probably cross the field here. on the 2-point play, and there's the hold right there. Perlo Bastien got a hold of the jersey.
Well, the Mountaineers, the least penalized team in the conference, starting the day, been penalized 10 times today. Now they're going to kick it. And Shane Graham adds the extra point.
Kick is good.
19-7. And 93 straight PATs made by Shane Graham.
Jimmy Kibble will kick off.
Virginia Tech with its largest lead now, 19-7. Just under 5 minutes left. Michael Vick, much different passer in the second half.
Yeah, he was 2 of 11 in the first half and came out and hit his first couple passes in the third quarter and has been a different player ever since. You got to remember, he's still a redshirt freshman. I mean, he's still seeing things for the first time, and his first tough test on the road, and he's passing the test here in the second half.
Good high kickoff by Jimmy Kibble. Down to Richard Bryant. He fumbled the football. It's picked up and advanced by Anthony Green. Excuse me, Boo Sensabaugh, number 19, not 49 Green. And there's a late flag down. Sensabaugh brought it all the way down to the 38-yard line. And there was a flag at the end of the play.
Well, we've seen the ball bounce the other way for the Mountaineers today. This time it bounces in their favor. You see Bryant coming up on the middle return, the ball out and right up on the scoop to Sensabaugh. A missed tackle there by Whitaker and a good return.
Philip Hicks knocked it out. Sensabaugh picked it up.
Personal foul. Late out of bounds on the defense. 15-yard penalty for the end of the run. First down.
Well, needing 2 touchdowns. West Virginia needs plenty of breaks, and they just got a couple on this play. There was the kicker, Kibble, who jumped on the pile a little bit late out of bounds.
Kickers.
Wasn't exactly a ferocious blow either. I mean, you got to hit him out of bounds. Well, don't sit on top of him.
You got to hit him, get a hit in.
Yeah, get a hit in. Earn your 15.
Well, for Brad Lewis right now, 4:43, you said it, they need 2 touchdowns, so he's got to be thinking, hurry up here. They need a quick score and then a defensive stop. They can't allow too much time to run off the clock. They got to try to get a quick score here to get to 19-14.
And the Virginia Tech 24, the quick slant, catch made. Ivy escaped and got close to the first down of the 14-yard line. They might stop the clock to measure it. They do stop it to examine the situation with 4:34 left, and they're going to bring on the stage.
This is good. Brad Lewis has got the play already. Kind of got to go into a hurry-up mindset here, knowing you need the 2 scores.
Just a couple of inches shy. Sunday on 60 Minutes. He's all of 13 years old, and he's on trial for murder. He's also on 60 Minutes. And with 1/4 of the doctors in the United States now trained in foreign countries, it's more likely that before the doctor can ask, where does it hurt, the patient will ask, where are you from? Sunday on 60 Minutes. 2nd and inches. Out of the gun. Lewis toward the end zone into traffic. He was fortunate to get away with that into double coverage. Jamel Smith and Ike Charlton defending Anthony Beck.
Yeah, Ike Charlton just really lured that throw by Brad Lewis. He left his coverage. Jamel Smith was covering the receiver, and Ike Charlton just came off of his man and played right to the football. Just couldn't come down with the catch. A veteran move by Ike Charlton.
Tafoya tells us Avon Coburn suffered a bruised left knee, but he is in there. Figured they'll run the ball just to try to get that first down. And if he got it, it wasn't by much. Hit the pile and went down. Chris Cyrus got the primary hit. Well, they might have to measure a gain with 4 minutes and 17 seconds left.
Been running most of the time successfully with a fullback in the ball game. That was a pass set with no fullback, just a single back, and they did get the first down but not by very much. I'd look to try to get the ball to Jerry Porter again here. He's a big target at 6'3", 215 pounds. Try to let him go up and make a play for you. Try to make a big play, big catch on the football.
Out of the gun, 4-man rush. Lewis taken down. Both ends got him that time. Corey Moore and John Engelberger. Might be a slight gain on the play.
Corey Moore, just, you know, when he gets it going, he can really put some problems on your team. Here they got 2 guys working on him, the fullback and the tackle, but he chases the play down. That 4.38 speed shows you he can do a lot of things chasing the football.
2nd and 9. Again, just the 4-man rush. Lewis throws off the hands of his intended target, Anthony Beck. We laid out for it, but couldn't take it in. Beck playing with a sore foot. When we visited with him yesterday, he was wearing a walking cast on that left foot.
Well, they had it, the little post on Jamel Smith. He had him turned around, just couldn't get his other hand onto the football. Ball a little bit out in front of him by Brad Lewis, but he had what he wanted. Single coverage working against the linebacker, Jamel Smith.
3rd and 9 with 3.5 minutes left. Virginia Tech leads by 12. Lewis with time, throws, caught right at the first down marker by Beck. He was in a crowd surrounded by Michael Hawks and Jamel Smith. And it'll be 4th down if he didn't make it.
Well, 2nd down, here he is again, Beck. 2nd down, they ran the post. This time they ran the hook. Jamel Smith still in coverage, out of position both times. That was a good throw by Brad Lewis. Get it to the tight end quick. Let him try to fight for the first down.
And another measurement. And a first down.
The measurement's working out great for West Virginia. It's allowed them to save their timeouts. They have 2 timeouts left. Gives them plenty of time to call plays in the huddle and get up and not burn much time off the clock.
2 tight ends in the game. Coburn the lone back on 1st and goal from the 4. The fade thrown by Lewis. It is caught. Touchdown, West Virginia. Jerry Porter.
Jerry Porter is a big physical athlete, 6'3", 215. He's got a 42-inch vertical jump. This is a high percentage play. Throw it up, let him go up and make a play. It's a perfect throw by Brad Lewis. You've got the mismatch out there, and they get the touchdown.
The extra point good from Jay Taylor. Well, the Mountaineers have had poor field position so many times today. A great field position after the break on the fumbled kickoff that was advanced, and then the personal foul penalty. Needed 7 plays to go the 24 yards for this touchdown.
Great throw by Taylor. Great catch by Porter. He's got the big hands, and Don Nehlen knows his team right back in it. 3 minutes and 15 seconds left in the ball game. And the Mountaineers really don't even need to be thinking onside kick here. They can kick the ball deep and hope their defense can come up with 1 more stop, and they've got 2 timeouts to use to stop the clock if they have to. Once again, they put the ball and the game in the hands of a redshirt freshman quarterback, Michael Vick, to see if he can win. Michael Vick started slowly in this ball game. He was confused in the first half. They got pressure on him. They were able to get after him a little bit. But in the second half, he really turned it around. Hit a couple big plays. Got Andre Davis involved. Started playing with a lot more confidence. Had a couple drop passes. Andre Davis had a sure touchdown here. Just couldn't corral it. But came back and made a big play a few moments later to set up the go-ahead touchdown for the Hokies. All in all, a good performance by Michael Vick on the road.
The Hokies have their hands team on. They're expecting the onside kick, at least anticipating that possibility. And the West Virginia coaches were jumping up and down, trying to get the attention of the kickoff team after they saw Frank Beamer's alignment.
You know what you may want to try to do here, if they continue to stay in this alignment, is try the same kind of pooch kickoff that Virginia Tech used, where you kick it maybe 30 yards down the field. They've only got one deep guy right now who's going to have to cover a lot of ground if you kick it over the initial two lines of Tech receivers here.
Jay Taylor is the kickoff man. 3:15 remaining and 2 timeouts. And so he will kick it deep. And a good kickoff. Stitt downs it. 56,906 in attendance at Mountaineer Field. A little bit less than a sellout. Many of them left after the Virginia Tech score that made it 19-7. West Virginia scored quickly. And it's a game again with 3:09 remaining. The number 3 team in the country. Virginia Tech, perhaps with a chance to move up. It would certainly seem that they'd move to number 2 with the victory, with Penn State losing today at home to Minnesota. Stitt, the tailback. He takes the handoff, has a hole on the left side, has a first down and more out to the 35-yard line. Leg tackled by Bastine. A 15-yard run for Stitt.
I mentioned earlier that Ricky Bussell thought that Chiron Stitt was the best running back, the complete package that they've had in a long time. Showing you how hard a physical runner he is. Again, the strength and conditioning program of Virginia Tech doesn't just affect their linemen. Ricky Bussell there, offensive coordinator. Doesn't just affect their linemen, their running backs, all of them physical kids. Chiron Stitt really runs it up in there hard.
He started the year with 4 straight 100-yard games. First Tech player under Frank Beamer to have 4 100-yard games in a row. He gets the call again and gets banged down at the 39 by Kyle Caton, sophomore from Fremont, Ohio. And the clock runs under 2.5 minutes remaining.
West Virginia will probably wait and see what they do on this play here, and then they may elect to use one of their timeouts. Hope they can get a good stop here on 2nd down and then stop the clock just under 2 minutes. Michael Vick, again, a redshirt freshman, doing a smart thing here. He's using all of the play clock. He did it on the last play. He's doing it right now. It's down to 7 seconds right now. He'll let it get all the way down to 1 before he snaps the ball.
Stitt again. Lost the football. Sensible has it at the 32. Barrett Green belted it out, and Sensible recovered at the 32-yard line.
Don Nealon says Barrett Green has been his best defender all season. He couldn't have made a bigger play at a bigger time for the Mountaineers. Watch this explosive tackle. Really lays it to Chiron Stitt. The ball pops up in the air, and Sensible, for the 2nd time in a row, corrals a loose football. Don Nealon knows it's paid off. We got the football back. We got 1:45 and 2 timeouts to win the football game.
And Virginia Tech cannot stop the clock. Avon Coburn is the tailback. Lewis comes out throwing. Zips one. What a catch by Beck! All out at the 15-yard line. 17
action from Lewis to Beck. Great extended catch by Beck, giving up the body for the catch. The biggest thing Brad Lewis has to think right now is be patient. I've got the timeout.
That's right.
Calm down and don't take a sack. Do not give Virginia Tech a sack in this situation.
He has time and the timeouts. He throws to the sideline. That's a catch, say the officials. Seth Abraham just inside the 10-yard line.
Again, another nice throw by Lewis. The feet clearly in. Those are the kind of catches when you're a receiver you practice when you're a little kid, staying in, you know, calling the play-by-play yourself and keeping those feet right on the sideline. Great catch.
First catch of the year for Seth Abraham. Bulgers stand in. Brad Lewis performing well at crunch time. 2nd and 4. Engelberger missed him, but they don't miss him the second time. David Pugh with the middle pressure. And a crucial sack, a huge sack for Virginia Tech. Back at the 18-yard line, the 7th sack for the Hokies.
You know, David Pugh, here he is right here. He got the critical sack in the game against Pittsburgh last week. Pitt was 1st and goal on the 1 with a chance to get right back in the game. And he made a huge sack on David Priestley. This time, he comes from the inside and gets the sack on Brad Lewis. Again, you don't want to give up a sack in this situation and give up the negative yardage. You've got momentum. You've got your team moving. Throw the football and come and play the next down. 3rd and 13 now. Very difficult against this defense.
A lot tougher than the 3rd and 4 they would have had had Lewis been able to throw it away.
See, the other thing is, in this position on the field, on the 18-yard line, Virginia Tech doesn't have to defend depth of the field. They can squeeze on your routes here, 3rd and 13, with no depth to defend because you're this close to the end zone. Plays right into the hands of the Hokies.
They need to reach the 5 for a first down.
Sean, if I'm Brad Lewis right now, I'm thinking the best matchup I probably have out here is trying to find my tight end, Anthony Beck, again. If he gets matched up on a linebacker in the middle of the field, I can maybe get him for a touchdown. Or, again, Jerry Porter with his physical abilities as an athlete to go up and make a play.
From the 18, 3rd and 13. In 4-down territory. Lewis throws. It is caught. Touchdown! Corey Ivy!
In the heat of battle, throwing strikes for the Mountaineers.
2 tight ends. They'll try the fade again. It's incomplete. So now Virginia Tech can win it with a field goal. They have 1:15, no timeouts. West Virginia needs 4 plays to go to 32 yards after the fumble recovery.
Corey Ivy, 3rd and 13. He works around the strong safety, Corey Bird, and then catches it in front of the other safety, Nick Sorensen. Sean, you said it at the top when we introduced the lineups. If there's been a weakness for Virginia Tech, it's been the play of their safeties. That time, Corey Bird and Nick Sorensen both couldn't make a play on Corey Ivy.
He was trying to settle down. He knew they needed to go for 2. He didn't want a celebration penalty. Stiff, agonizing. It was his fumble that set up the go-ahead score. Corey Ivy, the senior from Boca Raton.
Wow.
Florida. Emerging this year from the shadows of the standout wide receivers of the last 2 years. Here's Sean Foreman and David Saunders. deserves all the credit. Dan Simmel, the offensive coordinator, when we talked to him yesterday, said, last year, start of this year, I didn't really know what we had in Brad Lewis. I wasn't sure he's ever going to be a player, but he really grew up. The expression that Simmel used to describe Lewis. There are the folks who've left the stadium now on the hill slope behind the stands in the end zone trying to see in. Many of them left when Tech made it 19-7. Still time for this outstanding Tech team to try a game-winning field goal, even score a touchdown. They have an outstanding field goal kicker who can hit from long range. Taylor's kickoff. Stiff in the corner. Only out to the 16-yard line.
Sean, we talked to Don Nealon the other day, and we asked him about the big wins in his program, and he talked about the '88 win over Penn State, and he talked about the '93 win over Miami when they were ranked number 4. Boy, this one here would rank right up there with all the great wins in his career here.
Shane Graham, the field goal kicker for Virginia Tech, does have 50-yard plus range, made a 52-yarder. Last week at Pitt has a career long of 53 last year against Clemson. No timeouts left. Vick throws it too hard. Intended for Andre Davis. He's the speedy guy you would think might be going deep in this instance. They had him underneath trying for the run and catch.
He's the guy that can split this defense. And Michael Vick now his biggest test of his young career right now. Minute 6 left in the ball game, no timeout. He's got to hit a couple big plays down the field.
Virginia Tech trying to keep its national title hopes alive. There's a start. Drell Parham with his first catch of the day. The redshirt freshman from Bartow, Florida, gets them out to the 29. Penn State lost today. They were number 2 in the BCS standings. Virginia Tech had the opportunity, it seemed, to move up. They certainly cannot afford a loss with an eye toward the national title. That strength of schedule factored in. Vick on the roll, throws toward the middle. It is caught short of the first down and inbounds. Ricky Hall driven back by Gary Tompkins. He came up a yard short of the first down, and the clock runs to 45 seconds.
You got to do something to kill the clock here. You just take the ball and throw it or call your play, but don't waste too much time. Michael Vick wasting too much time right now.
They're about 25 yards away from a makeable field goal try for Graham. Vick on the roll. He's across the line of scrimmage. Up the sideline. Very close to field goal range. Out of bounds at the 36. From here, it would be a 53-yard field goal, and Graham has made one from that distance in his career.
He made a 52-yarder last week against Pitt, and I was watching him warming up before the game, going in this direction. He was trying long-distance field goals. Felt very comfortable kicking this way on the field.
Now Virginia Tech has to be so careful about being tackled in bounds and what they do if that happens. They can't waste much time. Vick throws. Is that a catch? The officials look at each other. It is caught by Ricky Hall, but he's short of the first down and the clock is running.
They got to spike the ball and try the field goal right here.
They spike it. And here comes Shane Graham, the senior from Dublin, Virginia. 3 times first team All-Big East. One of the great kickers in Virginia Tech history, one of the best in the country. And this is going to be a try of 44 yards from the right hash mark, and the Mountaineers will call a timeout. What a big scramble by Michael Vick on the play up the sideline to get them into the field goal territory.
You know, we thought he was wasting too much time on with the clock running, getting his team set, and then he made the huge play scrambling out of the pocket. The clock running, he can't find anybody open, and then just the athletic ability of Michael Vick. A tired West Virginia defense, he gets around the perimeter, and then instead of running out of bounds, goes right up the sideline and adds about 15, 20 yards to this run. Great effort by Michael Vick.
Shane Graham, the kicker, 10 out of 13 in field goals this year, 3 of 4 from between 40 and 49 yards. This will be a 44-yard try. He's the all-time leading scorer in the history of the Big East. And when we talked with Frank Beamer, he said Shane Graham has made every big kick we've ever asked him to make. Here's the biggest. To keep their national title hopes alive from 44 yards. It's long enough. It is right down the middle. Good for Shane Graham. They're still alive in Blacksburg. Michelle Tafoya.
Frank Beamer, please describe to me the roller coaster of emotions you've gone through in the last 15 minutes or so.
Was there some big plays or what? We knocked the ball loose on the kickoff. It bounces right to them. We get down here, and then they score and come back and fumble. Just a lot of big plays. Thank goodness we got some guys that hung in there. Michael Vick makes a great play over there to get the ball down there in field goal range. Shane Graham hits a great field goal.
But this game has to have surprised you. I mean, West Virginia hasn't played like this all season, and maybe you guys haven't either.
Well, they had Miami. They were up on Miami last week. I'm telling you, they're playing better right now than they have all year. And Don Nehlen's going to do that. I'm going to tell you. The guy will have his team. They'll keep getting better as the season goes along, and that's what this team's doing.
You know, I know you've been coaching for a number of years, but as your field goal kicker took the field and was ready to make that game-winning field goal, were you breathing at all?
I was praying. I'll be quite honest with you. I just said a little prayer.
Well, it came true. Congratulations.
Sure, thank you all so much.
All right, Sean, back to you.
That's the end of the game with the final score. Virginia Tech 22, West Virginia 20. Here's the winning kick. You know, Todd, we're told that the Luke Rose Award for the best kicker in the nation, the finalists came out today. They had 20 on the list. Shane Graham wasn't one of them. Shame on them.
Three-time All-Big East, and I mean, and that was never even in question. I mean, he just nailed it. And as you said, he's made every big kick that Frank Beamer has asked him to make.
Frank Beamer's prayers were answered, and he wasn't alone in prayer on the far sideline.
Sean, championship teams win games like this.
Yep.
I mean, you can say what you want. You've got to win games like this. And for Don Nehlen, another excruciating loss in a season that was very close.
And that's what this season has been like for West Virginia. Brad Lewis off the bench played so well to get them into the lead. Graham knew just about as soon as he hit it. There was never any doubt. That was right down Broadway with plenty of room to spare. The Hokies 8-0 for the first time since 1905 and in position, but they have a big tilt next week with Miami. For Michelle Tafoya, Todd Blackwood, Sean McDonough saying so long from Morgantown.